Have any of you felt like you could sleep forever?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me, this is kind of cool. I like how they I didn't use a hat pattern, but I'm liking how Spirit is creating this energy flow of my hat. I like it. See, literally it goes down like this. I like my hat, people. Well, that's so much better. Okay. So, I normally get up and pee like a zillion times a night. I worked on my willpower last night. I deliberately chose to work on my will. And the will was, so it was like, okay, I'll have to explain that to you because like LaRonda knows, because the way that we physically have problems breathing, the willpower constricts and controls by the water from what I can feel. Okay. Now, we're live. I still got Amy, and I'm recording on YouTube, and I'm leaving it
really weirded out.
Huh?
I'm really weirded out because I can't see you.
Well, turn on your phone and look on the page. Now, I can't please Amy, but I got all I've got her voice, but now she don't have pictures. So that's something she's going to have to work out. Got this part to work. We can't please other people all the time. We can only do what is necessary for that moment. And that's going to have to be okay. So I don't need to sit there and discipline myself in the regular ego way of hurting myself in any way, any shape or form. I don't need to do that. I know I'm playing with my hat, and I think her mother's here. So acknowledge your mother, please. How you discipline yourself. When you're spiritually disciplining, you need to know when you are less in love, and you use a tool to help take care of those emotions, those anxiety feelings, those nastiness. People say you can't take care of an anxiety feelings. I cry bullshit because I did it. I have people that call me from work. Oh my God. And then I will text them back. All right, do source point healing. Do this, and this. Think this. And so within 2 minutes, the anxiety comes down and they go back to work. If I'm losing my shit, you can use hope therapy. And so I was traveling by myself. This is how you discipline, you understand. So I'm traveling by myself for the first time, and this was many years ago, and I had to travel to another state. I was in Michigan. I had to go down to, I don't think it was Oklahoma. I can't remember where. It's several states away. And that's something that's not me. That's very scary. So I did it, right? Well, I didn't quite make it at first. Now, I knew that I was going to have to travel several states, which means I'm going to have to spend the night somewhere and then go to the meeting so I can become medicine woman. I had to go through a meeting. I have to do all this. This is back in the old days. Now you can just go through a university and do it that way. So I didn't even get a chance to, I ran out of gas. So what happens is that this is what's called a spirit setup, or a soul lesson or ego lesson. But it's a setup because I can see it coming now. If I look back, did I know it then? No. You can learn on a whisper. You can learn on a bitch slap. If you learn on a whisper, then you get all these heads up. But if you have to feel and experience on the emotional, physical level of how humans react, which is what you're healing and disciplining, an electromagnetic response. This is where your life force is going to pay for that chi. And if you keep investing in those hells, that's what I refer to. And that means every time you're responding the same way in fear or any negativity or any of this, the little light in the cells start to go out. You with me? Because if you watch the beginning of it, you'd be with me. Now, what does this mean? A lot of my life force was invested in, I'm lopsided too. A lot of my life force was invested into this particular fear I had as a child. And this particular fear was using my willpower to do and live and to be, to play, to thrive. So as I used my willpower to do something that my program was set against, towards and away from, I'm going towards something, but my willpower and my life force is set at the going away from, avoiding. We had this experience, we over-identified with matter, and I don't ever want to go there again because there's no other possible way. But now I've aged and I'm moving forward. And I have to force myself and I have to overcome. And I didn't include my head. And it's like, I can do this. And I'm like, I can do this. And my whole body was fighting and running the old program, where my mind is running the program I wanted to. This is why I don't believe in overcoming, because that's all I ever did was learn how to be an overcomer and to achieve how to be an introvert to an extrovert. I'm still an introvert by heart. Okay. So when you allow yourself to learn these little things, you'll begin to wake up. You begin to notice what they are, and you can actually use tools to help you change. Well, during that time, I was not knowing I was running a program, except for I was like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I'm overcoming, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. So basically I gave myself a pep talk. I went into Superwoman stance and I packed my bags and I did it. Because deep down in my soul, I knew I had to become a medicine woman. There was no doubt in my mind, and nothing was going to stop me. That motivation moved beyond fear, even to the point where I got angry with myself to move. So now I'm traveling. Everything's going good. I'm talking to my husband on the phone, not the one I got now, but before. And I said, I'm noticing town after town after town, gas stations after gas stations after gas stations. Now, not being aware of the worldly aspects of different perspectives, the kaleidoscope of life, I didn't know that when you get further and further, now I've already traveled for 4 hours, but where I was going was like in, Timbuktu. It's like, so, and everything closes at 10 o'clock, even gas stations in certain places. So I'm traveling and I said to my husband, hey, I got a quarter of a tank, or it was like a half a tank or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And I said, do you think it's going to get me to, because I had a destination in mind, but I wasn't sure how to calculate it. And I tried asking for help and he was too busy. So he said, yeah, you should be fine. You got at least another 100 miles under your belt. Okay. So I'm calculating, well, that should be fine. Not sure what happened. It's nobody's fault. Again, it was a setup by spirit for me having to go through a particular thing because I have to grow and develop. And I'm like, wow. So I still have the last memory of the big town with all the lights and all the gas stations. And I'm up on the side of the thing where I can turn in and there's just go all the way down and get all of the gas I want and everything else. And I said, okay, I'm talking to him on the phone. I said, okay. So then I click the button and hang up and I'm singing the song and all this and that. And I seen Waldo and I says, wonder if I'll find him. I like to joke, humor, and amuse myself, especially when I'm talking to myself. And so as I'm traveling, then all of a sudden I'm noticing no more big cities. And all the small towns are closing up. There's no gas stations open. So I go to the next one. Again, same thing. Now I'm on E. I have no idea how much farther I can go. I can't sit on the side of the road. And I'm like, wait, what? So now I'm like, thank you, Spirit, show me a sign. Now I can feel a little quivering. I can feel my willpower not wanting to move forward. I can feel a little anxiety coming on. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I can't quite feel I'm driving. This is before I got really expert. What do I do? So I continue to drive. And all of a sudden I see it says hotel ahead, like 2 seconds, like, well, probably about a minute, if that. Okay, that's my sign. Migas Hotel. Now, I'm like, yay, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit. So I turn off, yes. My GPS says, oh, you just went into unknown territory. I don't know where you're at. Turn around, come back. It's crying. Oh, shut up. And all of a sudden, I'm going and going. And this hotel up there. I'm like, now this. Have you ever seen the Bates Motel? What? That sound looks familiar. It was in a horrifying movie. Way up on top of the hill, there's this hotel. I remember it so fondly. I said, no way in hell am I staying there. So now I decided I am going to investigate. Oh my God. My willpower is like, hell no, we're not going. No, turn around. I'm fighting. I can feel the fear. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, fine. So I turn around. You can't get off the one. So you have to go in. And all of a sudden it's like, where the fuck are the roads? I can't get back to the main highway like normally you can just go around, come down, and get back in the highway. No. Construction zone. There's no way of figuring it out. There's no signs that says detour. I said, holy shit. I'm in the middle of a freaking ego lesson, and I am by myself in the dark in an unknown town, and I'm scared shitless. Now, needless to say, my willpower energy when it started feeding the fear. Oh my God. I am about ready to wet myself. I'm ready to scream. I'm clenching. And I said, just show me a sign. I'm doing my best to stay into spirit, even though I know I'm disconnected. And this is before I could stand back in my spiritual self and see the whole picture. And I says, oh my God. I'm like, breathe, Brenda. Oh, Jesus, breathe. And all of a sudden I heard spirit look. So I looked over underneath a bridge. There was a road that had 2 gas stations, but they're closed. I said, I don't care. I turned down there because I can't go back on main highway for the life of me. And I turned in there, pulled in there, and sat. Now I'm trying to talk myself into, you can do this. You can spend the night here. You're under a lamppost. You're good. There's a gas station right there. We'll just wait until morning. There's houses over there. There's houses. There's houses over there. And then, of course, what does your fear do? It goes back into the data. What do I mean by data? The data centers, the little brain centers, first, second, and third chakra, where you keep all of your memories of safety, security, stability. Oh my. And I started to conjure up very hellacious, fearful stories. I'm not breathing right. I'm having an issue. I'm talking out loud, like 50,000 words per minute. I'm like, oh, I can't control this. I can feel that in my heart. I'm like, oh my God, my head's gonna pop any minute now. My head's gonna go, and that'll be the end of the woman. She combusted, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm attracting shit in. Oh my God, will I attract a wolf? Will I attract a person? Will I attract the nightmares? Will I attract, oh my God, I'm thinking, I'm like freaking out. And now my phone died. GPS won't work. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. I'm under a lamppost, thank goodness, but my phone died. What? Okay. Now all I had at the time, it's not this big ass thing, but it was a smaller one. Okay, this is really putting to test of the new tool that they brought in for me. Okay, my will is I want to run and scream, beat up anybody that comes near me. I want to bury my head in the sand. But then I don't want my ass exposed. It's like, well, I want to bury myself. Oh, I don't want to be buried alive. Oh my God, so strange shit thoughts. To say the least. I pick up the phone. You're dead. What am I supposed to do? I'm playing with it. I'm trying to focus, trying not to look around. And it's about 11 p.m. And I'm playing with it. And all of a sudden a text sent. I go, how the hell that happened? Maybe, just maybe, I could figure out how to do this. And so I thought, but who would I call if I had last seconds to figure out my phone? And I didn't do anything. So I got up and, if I put it this way, where's the signal now? No, fuck it. Playing with the phone, and this is with the flip phones where you didn't have the big one where you can get in and play games, blah, 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 none of that. And then it was like, dial 911. And I pushed it. Hello, okay. Oh my God. I says, I don't mean to, I'm in quite a state of hysteria. I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to calm down. My voice is, I says, look, I don't know where I'm at. I'm very lost. I'm very scared. I know I'm probably safe, but I'm freaking out. My imagination is wild. I can't figure this out. I don't know what to do. And I says, I'm having an anxiety attack beyond belief. I can't figure this out. And the lady goes, she goes, well, where are you? I don't know. Last thing I know is this creepy hotel. Oh, I know exactly where you're at. I'm like, I want to laugh because it looks like the creepy hotel. It looks like the base motel. She knew exactly where I was talking. I'm thinking, how does that place do any businesses if everybody thinks that's like the Bates Motel? What the hell? That's hilarious. And then all of a sudden my mind goes, wait, if that's the case, oh my God. And I know that's just right up the road. Oh, my mind goes again. She's like, it's okay. I will send Officer blah, blah, and he'll come to you. I says, okay. She says, just breathe it through. And she says, get a paper and pencil. Oh, no, that's right. Because then she says to me, she goes, get a paper and pencil. And I said, I can't see in the dark. And so I found something. She goes, write this down and then call the police department. You're not going to call them for me? And she goes, no, but they'll come to you. Now, see, I misunderstood everything she said. She hung up. That was my one shot. Now, of course, I went on a tangent again. I don't know how I got this phone to work. Let alone once, but twice. There's no signal, nothing. I don't know what's happening. And now she wants me to call this number? Now, I decide. I have to wet myself. So women are very creative when it comes time to when they have to pee. So just say I got creative. Because there was no way I was going to have my ass hanging out the door for anybody to see full exposure or the calling card. It's like, oh, hell no. And I'm still freaking out. I'm losing it. My inhalers, I don't know where the fuck they are. I'm trying very hard to calm myself. And I couldn't even think of a tool. That's how bad it was. And then I picked up the phone. I ended up calling and I got through. It must have been the 10th time. I was just randomly. Hello, this is the police. Oh my God. And so I tried to explain to them. They says, ma'am, it's okay. We'll be right there. But they're like 15 minutes away. So that's fine. So I take my phone down, I put it down, and I said, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit says, now use the healing tool we just gave you, which is what I called hope therapy. Yeah, I have healing tool. And so, of course, I'm tapping. No, that's EFT, Brenda. We're not telling. Now, you have to have some kind of brain function in order to know where L1D is and all of this other stuff. And I looked down and I said, I can't do this. And they said, just, and then all of a sudden it was highlighted, L3D. Oh, I can do that. I know that one. I don't know that one. I'll just do that. So I'm holding. And the fear was just like, measure it. I'm like 50 billion to a zillion. I don't even know what that name word. Oh my God. And I could feel my prickles in my head. I could feel it down to my tongue. After probably 2 or 3 minutes, everything went, my thoughts calmed right down. The emotions dissipated beyond belief. And then I went another minute or two. Oh, I returned. I've got a pillow, a blanket in the trunk. I'm going to make sure the doors are all locked, make myself a back seat. I can sleep in the back seat of my car. I can do that. And I thought, okay, I have a few snacks I'm going to eat right now. And then I don't know what time. I'm assuming they'll wake up, or the gas station's open at 6. So I've only got another 5 hours. It's like, no big deal. I can do this. So I get into the back seat. All of a sudden, here comes the cop. So I got out, and he goes, "Are you the lady that?" And I says, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Are you? You're not as excited." I said, I calmed down. I calmed down. And he goes, "Yeah, you did." I says, and so we're chatting, we're talking, and he's looking at me like, "Is she on drugs or something?" But he didn't really do that. He just looked at me. I says, "I realized that I was in full anxiety mode, and I'm out of that mode." And he says, "Okay." And then I said, "Spirit," but I had said, "Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for showing me the way." And with Grace Needs. And all of a sudden he says, "Okay, well, we'll come back every hour to check on you. You go to sleep." And then as they're about ready to drive away, he stopped the car. He says, "You know what? I like you. I live 5 minutes away. With your permission, I have gas in my gas can 5 minutes away. I'm going to get it. And I'll put the gas in your car, and I won't charge you. And then we'll drive you to the nearest gas stations, which is 11 miles away. And then you can fill up, and then we know that you're completely safe." Oh my God, I busted for joy. Tears are running down my face. I'm looking at him, "You would do that?" "Yes, ma'am." I says, "I would love that." Oh God, talk about emotion. This is a very strong memory. Do I need to heal it out? No, I just need to take that grace and ease in, bring it from the head into my heart and into my body, just so you know. So then we go all the way down, and we're doing it. I'm following him and everything. And then we get to the gas station, and I said, "Thank you so much." And I didn't get his name and any number, and he wouldn't take any money. He says, "Just go." And he says, "I'm sure," he says, "there's hotels, just around the corner." He says, "Go get a good night's sleep the best you can." He says, "Calm down." He says, "Get yourself some comfort food." He says, "And I know you'll be fine." I says, "Oh my God," I'm just like freaking out. He says, "Ma'am, it's okay. It's okay." And so he left. I got gas. And if you've ever had a chemical peptide fall, this is what you guys are unaware of, what happens to every human being when you're completely emotional. And then when the issue's over, the fall will be the chemical peptides have nowhere to go. So they poof. And so then all of a sudden your body just dumps. So I put the gas in, filled that thing till I couldn't get last drop in anymore. Go in, and the guy in there says hi, and I could not. It was like a floodgate. And I'm fully aware that I'm doing this, but I can't stop it. I mean, I get myself some chocolate milk. I got myself some cocoa. And you talk about comfort stuff. I says, "Where's the bread? I'm going to get a loaf of bread." My mother, bad experiences in my life, always was cocoa and toast. But I had no idea what my comfort food is. But when you're in the store, you certainly do remember. And then he tells me where to find it. So I put everything, and I kept saying, "I can't believe this." So I just blah, 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 blah. I'm freaking the clerk out, pay for everything, get in the car, follow his instructions, go up the road. And I started to laugh so hard because I was so thankful with Spirit that the sign says Ripley's. Now, if you know me in associations, you know what my next words, believe it or not. I said, "Oh my God, Ripley's." First I had Waldo, and then I found myself, and then all of a sudden I went in, and now I've got Ripley's, and I go, "Oh my God, believe it or not." So then I go into this hotel. Now, I'm not a smoker. I have asthma, but the guy gave me the room for like $20 because I got there like at 1:30, and he looked at me and he says, "I'm not going to charge you hardly anything for this room, and we're going to give you the better room. You need a good night's sleep." I go, I get to the room, and of course it's all smoky, but you know what? I put a sheet over my face, and I thought, yeah, whatever. And then I slept. I found myself. Where's Waldo? I found myself. Out of that fear, I found myself. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But then when Ripley's Believe It or Not, I did understand it's my choice to what I want to believe. It's my choice of what I want to think. And I was giving my life force away to things that were scary and imaginary. But I held my own with Spirit. And Spirit and I became more bonded from that night. When you do not allow the light of God, the light of you, the light of Spirit, the light of who you are into your space that helps run the chi in your life, if you're choosing with your ego or yourself, your human self, to follow fear, you are turning the lights off in your own cells. You are creating the willpower to go somewhere other than to support you. If you are not understanding this, last night, I was having all kinds of issues. I thought, why is it my lungs want to freaking do this? And it said, do you remember the word bashful or shy? I said, yeah, where are you going with this? And Spirit says, well, I need you to look that up again. And I said, okay, I can do that, I think. And bashful is shy or timid. All right. Bashful was, let's see, but not quite identical. They describe a person who is shy but friendly. Oh, pushed the wrong button. Like, for instance, shyness can mean feeling uncomfortable. Yes, I was very uncomfortable. Self-conscious. Yes, they were always looking at me. Nervous. Oh, yes. Bashful, timid, or insecure. Notice physical sensations like blushing, feeling speechless, shaky, breathless. I'm like, wait, what? No, I've aged. I've grown. There's no way that I should really have to be having this. But my body, my mind, because I worried, memorized it, creating fires and wires and created these trails. And then my body, my subconscious mind, my body, you see my subconscious mind has recorded it and memorized it so well. My body says, this is who we are. This is how much we're taking your life force and your willpower and we're putting it over here. So my willpower to do things, I'm going towards what I want, but my willpower pulls me back and says, no, this is the program you got running. This is your GPS. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can see how I do not want to participate physically or anything. I'm just like, I want to, bashfulness is about to avoid or easily frightened. Shy is this, easily frightened. That's the difference. Bashful is to avoid, shy is that easily frightened or timid. So bashful is about reluctant to draw attention to oneself. So as I'm watching my mirror, my husband was displaying something. I said, I recognize this. Now, that's on a spiritual level. On a physical level, just a whole different conversation, a whole something else that's happening. And it was nothing good or bad. It was just life. And I'm like, I'm not, and I'm like, I can't, oh, huh. And so last night it was sitting there going, my gallbladder is involved with this whole situation. And my bladder's meridian, which is the willpower, is paralyzed and don't want to do something. And the small intestine is, I don't want to, why can't you love me the same way I love you? And so my mind was like, no, don't talk to me, motherfucker. I don't want to talk to you. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, where's this program? I can see this program, but that's not my husband. That is my ex. That is my dad. I'm like, oh my God, I can't make this stop. And I kept seeing, I could literally see, and I knew that I didn't want to, I love my husband, but I could see this filter. And I'm like, I can't see beyond this. And I'm looking and going, I don't want to ruin this relationship. I don't want to, and so I'm looking at this in such a way that every time that I know he was just going to talk to me about something, being his cute self, I was like, no, I didn't have the ability to say no out loud because I wasn't allowed as a kid. It's like, get over it. Stop being so shy. Now, physically, I'm moving forward. I've aged, I'm doing it, but my body is screaming as I heard those programs in my head. Don't talk to me. Don't do this. Don't look at me. Don't do nothing. And then the other half of me says, oh, but thank you. I love you. I want to be with you. And I'm looking at the program that's stealing my life force, that light. It's pulling the light out of my cells. And I'm losing power left and right. I'm coughing. I'm having asthma attack after asthma attack. And I'm like, I don't have the will to do this, to have a conversation, to be there. Then the bird started to chirp. I don't have the will to listen to him, that bird. And I'm like, oh my God. I could feel my physical sensations that went along with my shyness of the programs to react and to shut up. I had to really look at, I'm not willing to talk to you. I'm not willing to participate. I don't want to, but I will do it because my mama says so. The feeling of my will, it was not whatever was happening between my husband and the TV set and the bird. That was all good. And I could clearly see the difference. But as I went back as a kid, not quite remembering, but the feeling was there. And that's all you need. I started to do hope therapy. I started to write. I started to make sense. I've overcome, I said, this not willing to do something, to act, because I got to act like everything's okay. So I'm more passive than aggressive, but I'm very aggressive inside to me. I mean, I pulled myself right out of an asthma attack with hope therapy. I noticed that the fluids in me, because the bladder meridian kept going off, and I would touch the point on my ankle to help control the water, the flow. Oh my God, that was painful. But then I would rub that spot and I could feel my body going, oh, yeah, everything's good. But I could feel the chemical peptides. I could feel. I want you to understand your will. I don't care how much you try to say, oh, yeah, I'm doing it. But if you're trying to overcome, you didn't take care of the root. If you're forcing yourself to do something, you're not taking care of the root. If you're like, I'm overcoming this, I'm tired of being shy, and you made yourself outgoing, you didn't take care of the root. You literally need to take care of the root. Because if you don't, you're going to cause yourself in such a way to have physical ailments, to cause yourself to have a life that you don't quite understand. And when that occurs, you feel like you have no control. So you have to go to the doctors to take a medicine. You have to do certain things to feel like you can survive this moment. But there are ways and different things to do. And this is what I want people to learn. This is why I come on. This is why I teach. This is why I I think it's important. It's very important that you get these little things. I mean, people are like my students, I can see each one of them beginning to wake up going, wait a minute. You mean there's a boundary? Not that I put up and don't cross it, bitch. No. You mean there's an actual energy field where I end and they begin? Yes. And you're saying that if I don't mind my energy, then their energy creeps in because it's their fault, right? No, that's ego. You've let it in. You wanted to experience. You wanted to make known the unknown. You wanted to understand the kaleidoscope of life, those perspectives. You wanted, and then it's like, but I don't want any of that. Oh, so you need to find out who you are, your authentic self. And people are beginning to understand that you can touch certain parts of your body, because you're electromagnetic, you will affect the electromagnetic energy, the life force, the chi. You'll tap into the innate wisdom and innate intelligence that affects the life force that's in there. And if you learn how to communicate again with this, what's going to happen? You become happier, healthier, you. Your life's going to get better and better, because now, instead of running with your left brain and in your ego mindset that there's just a past and the future, you can stand in your authentic self, knowing that you can redirect yourself back, take the gems of the moment, use tools to get you out of those programs, and you don't have to live in hell, but create a heaven. And you will learn, it's not about control, but you not losing your power. So your power comes in and you're learning how to be with the yin and yang balance. You're creating the unity. I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to live here. Because I remember this woman telling me, well, if you don't have contrast, then you're not going to have a life. It's just going to be boring. And you need all these hells so that you can have a life. So your life's not boring. I said, that's how you define it. You have not had the experience. That's why you're talking that way. I have had the experience. So please get out of the way, because I'm doing it. I can't explain it to you because we're not in sync to communicate it. So I don't have to prove nothing to you. I don't have to do any of these things to you. I am going to disconnect the entanglement cord and reset it. And I'm going to align myself up to who I am on my path. And I'm moving forward. So I can be this happier, healthier, spiritual human. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Now, that was quite in depth. I gave up a long time ago of trying to figure out whatever I'm going to talk about. Let's have some PDFs. Let's do this and this and this. No, it's not. Sometimes you just can't do that. You have to do it in a certain way that you let the spirit flow, channel, and so that you can be more your authentic self. I'm double checking to see if there's anybody that's paid. And if nobody's paid, we'll start with the 1-minute reads. So we have a couple more people that's joined the tribe, and this tribal hour tomorrow is about picking. I have all these free healing tools, and a lot of you have healing tools, but you don't realize that there's a ton of healing tools. There's manifesting tools, there is resolving tools, there's, getting your life force back tool, all of that. And we're going to pick one. And we're going to look at how we can move forward in using them. So in that tribal hour, I will show you how to use it. I will troubleshoot. If people do it in front of me, I can see whether if you're lined up, connected, or however that is. And we can go from there. That's what we're doing. So now, onward, yes. Hey, I had to get the bigger screen because it's small and I can't see crapola. Hey, look at all the beautiful people. Have YouTube open in here. Hey, good. Ha! YouTube's like, oh my God. Facebook. Had an awesome counselor who told me it's okay to be shy, and it really was a freeing turning point for me. Yes, because you can be all these things, but you don't need them to own you. If you let them own you, you will have a particular issue, because out of those particular frequencies, okay, so you have power versus force, and the power is love and above. And anything below that is below 500 hertz in an emotional aspect will actually begin to create the life out of that negative state. And so as I own the fact that I was shy, I'm taking my power off those moments when I was young that defined that shyness had to be my identity when I was that young. So I took it off. I changed it. I took my life force that marked that moment at 3 years old, took my energy off of it, put it back into my body, turned the lights back on in my body. I don't have to believe that anymore. I don't have to try to avoid it. No, it's resolved. A memory becomes a memory, and you upgrade your emotions. You change the chemical peptide program that the cell does not have to, this is the emotion, it does not have to always act this way. I unlocked it and let the memory be a memory, turn the light back on the cell, and I can put love back in. That's the beautiful part. We are part of your identity. I know these stories. They don't own me. So you want something that's going to make you happier, healthier, and stronger. Okay? Now, Amy, are you there? Well, her volume control is. It's supposed to be. But obviously I'm alone. So she can't get back in. Okay, so okay, that's fine. I'm just going to close it then. It was a way for us to, you could have just taken the video off, because there's no way for me to talk to my I'm not letting you in here. So that's why I was trying to find a new way. Spirit wanted you to be off the screen so that this energy, so I could talk. That's what we're doing. So this isn't the Zoom room, just so you know. And so Amy is just watching, and she'll monitor from there. That's fine. That is fine. So we have 4 people in YouTube. Hey, I haven't seen people in YouTube in a long time. And as we look, we can look here. Well, it doesn't let me go back further, but that's okay. So tell me, what, before I go any further, so, talk to me, everybody. What did you think of today's message? Let's talk about that. What is today's message? What did you think of it? Hi, Melinda. How you doing? Hi, Dale. What did you think of today's message? Hey, Karen. Oh, from Australia. I'm from South Australia. What part of Australia are you from? Hi, Diana. I need rice, Diana. So just let you know. Diana said she'll do a drive-by. Throw things. So there's all of that. Okay. What I want to hear back, if you've heard today's message, I need you to tell me what connects. Do you have a question about today's message? Oh, I felt it, and how you felt. Good, Amanda, good. Oh, North South Wales, wonderful. Yeah, we traveled up there, before, when we could travel. I love that area. I have a friend up in New South Wales too. Patricia says, to believe in yourself, trust your instincts. Yes. And the thing is who is yourself? Are you your ego self, or are you your spiritual self? And that's really good to know that distinction. Angie says, I went through it today. Actually, really, Angie? Wow. Loranda says, don't get caught up in your fears. That's absolutely true. Man, can fear take over. And even though you're here, those programs from the past will control how you think, feel, and be. And that's also what's important. Oh, yeah, I heard that. I was getting a lot of interference. Oh, you were? Amanda says, I have so many tools, but when I go into anxiety and panic, my brain stops working in the sense of knowing what to do. Yes, that's very common. That's why the blood's leaving your forebrain to go into fight, flight, freeze, and you want the forebrain to get the blood back. And until you can, so if you can just practice anytime you feel stressful, learning to do this, that when you get into that stage, you can learn to do this, or put stickers, put your hand on your head. If I'm upset, I'll say to Alexis, Alexis, I'm upset. And then she go, are you in ego mindset? Yes, yes, I am. Yes. yes, I am. Let's see. Amber says, I've actually been studying light codes and energy movement and the symbols. Excellent. So everything you've covered are things I am learning as well. Everything you teach resonates so deeply with me. Wonderful. Yes, and that's what hopefully you do, is all work on your spiritual selves. Vicky says, I'm wondering if there's a part of me that is shy and I just don't recognize it anymore. I'm going to say yes, Vicky. That is absolutely true. Teresa says, yes, you can retain your body's responses that you've learned as a child. I know some situations were not threatening, but I would go into panic attacks. Yeah, because each of those moments from the time of conception up to the age of 7, those are your triggers and your mark points. And when you have responded and gave your life force to that moment, you create and store this memory. Because why? You don't know how to cope, handle, or deal with it. So you memorize it because you think about it and you're trying to cope with it. And then the body says, this is how much life force goes in there. This is what we have to deal with. And then from that point on, you're going to collect evidence and proof that are going to be collected in this gestalt, which says this is how you have to act, behave every time that this happens. When you go into fear, you put you in high beta. Good, Laronda's learning. High beta is that the beta waves is like I'm talking to you, but when I go into fear, you'll jack your brainwave up to be in high beta, which then cuts everything out. So it streamlines with fear. It streamlines, connects to what? Nothing. And your brain tries to predict by running to the end of your timeline. It's like running with scissors, and you really need to take and control back. And notice that you're not that. Now, we all experience anxiety and emotions, and it's okay. Yes, and you can do something about it. It's the experience, but it doesn't determine who we are. It's normal, and it's okay. Yes, and you can do something about it. Melinda says your message are always bang on. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, that's what we're here for. Now, I will tell you what happens is that I noticed this with, so my daughter came through, taught me, some other person asked me a question. There was a couple other incidences, and I said, so that's where we're at. Now, I don't want to talk too heavily, deeply into this, but many years ago, back in about 1990 or something like that, I was reading the Bible, and I'm in Revelations. The third time I'm going through Revelations, all of a sudden, what I noticed with the whole Bible was there is this consistency of metaphors, and there was a consistency of stories, something more than just what's linear. And by the third time around, I saw man's opinions disappear. What was left was energies, chakras, meridians, frequencies, information, time, space, numbers, and fractals. And I was like, before I knew what a fractal was, I'm like, what the hell? And love. Going back to love. Coming back to love. We had to find out what love wasn't. And I was like, what? So at the end, there's the 7 seals. My daughter says that she dreamt, she says, Mom, I made it through 2 seals and I got 5 more to go according to spirit. And my dream, that's what they keep telling me. What does that mean? My mind went right into the chakras. I have a diagram that I actually drew, and it's based out of information from several different places. So I drew this diagram. Down below are these points that have to do with seal points for each of your chakras. And it's the heart seal point for each of the chakras of all of the auras, bodies. And I had no idea, but I believe that now is related to the 7 chakras or the 7 seals that are at the end of the Bible. And I feel like we have opened up to. But at the same time, I also know through these chakra healings that I've created for myself is that I can go through, and whatever seal point I'm at, I open up that. Before I can open it up, I have to heal and address the particular story in that seal before that seal opens. So I do know that. Last night it was very heavy duty sleeping. It was like we had to be in a lull, and I know I shifted somewhere. I could feel that. I worked on my willpower, so I knew that shifted as well. So we have to get it by things will throw you into high beta, and we have to, so if you have emailed in, then what happens is that this is just another thing that we have to solve, which means another hurdle before I can do it. So normally we have, so this isn't going to do me any good because we'll see what happens. I don't know. You got to problem solve on the fly. I need you to say something.
What happens? I don't know.
Nope, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to amplify it. That's what I was trying to do. Yeah, I'm going to have to fix that. Don't like that energy. It's not aligned. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear because this iPad you gave me doesn't have a little socket. Yeah, there it is. Again, you can email in and I can have a chain reaction to knock everything all over. Okay, I can feel my willpower not wanting to do something because now I'm not wanting to breathe. I feel pulled.
Line in mode.
Okay, I can't breathe. Okay, hold on. Somebody's very angry. He's upset. That needs to be changed. Give me a second. Sorry, I had to hang up with Amy because okay. To email in, look up here. It says mws4u@dr.com. That is where you can email, ask a question, or you can just say 1 minute free reading. If you'd like to pay for a reading, which is 6 minutes, then you're more than welcome to. Then that is where you go. Is paypal.me/reading11 with the question mark. Because if you don't do the question mark, then you are going to, you can get me in some of a direct firm link. So what happens when people's energies are determined and are upset and you have a program when you were a kid? It is, and that's what I'm fighting with right now, my 2-year-old self that, so give me a minute. It's my program. Too many things I'm now just have to streamline, cut back, change it, and we go from there. Talk to me now.
I can hear you.
Now everybody can hear you too. So you still in high beta?
You?
All right. So why don't you tell people what high beta is?
I can't.
You're emotionally stressed. That's what she's doing. She's in an emotional state right now. It doesn't allow your brain to think. So she was triggered. And the triggering was things were out of sync. Too many things happen at once. And so your sensory system becomes overloaded. When it becomes overloaded, it can throw your brain into high beta. Usually it makes you negative thinking. But if her brain is going into a different state, which is to want to hit things, to make things stop, yell and scream and holler, your first chakra is completely off. It disconnects you from incoming energies from spirit. So you feel like you're an object in that. Just because everything changed, you feel like an it. It has pulled you back to when you were 3 years old. And so you're going through that. So see, she's not going to need me soon. She's going to cut me out of her life. Now that may not be what she's thinking. I don't know what the hell she's thinking, but I will tell you what her body's doing and thinking, because it's the chemical peptide process. And because there's not enough information, you're going to run wild with scissors. Now, I can't use hope therapy on her right now because she is going through something in particular. You want to know? So I'm going to have to. Okay. You don't want out. Shit. Something about proving a point. You, as a kid, 5 years old, you're stuck seeing that I'm not needed. I didn't say you weren't needed. But your brain is going back to a filter, and it's holding a grudge. It's time for you to, this is what's called an ego lesson. You don't handle change well. You want your lofty self to stomp all over my ass, but at the same time, your heart's breaking and it wants to, I have to look up what forlorn means. Give me a minute. So we got to figure out what this little girl's doing. Oh, I just asked her to come on the show and show you, but then that would be kind of, aha, forlorn, pitifully sad and abandoned or lonely. Unlikely to succeed, to be fulfilled. That's what you're doing. Okay, so you're yelling at me right now, saying, I don't want out of this. This is who I am. Fuck off. Okay, so are you aware of any of these feelings?
No.
But her physical self is saying that she's in high beta. Okay, can you tell us what you feel so people understand what is going on?
Just overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. And does that do with your sensory system? Everything in heightened, sound, sight, any of that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she's using her willpower right now to be lofty, but she can't do it outward. So this is a more of a passive way of what she did with her will. So she's going to be an example of the willpower. And this is how she chose to cope. This crappy feeling she's feeling right now is how she chose to cope. Oh, is it okay? Okay, so your father was a certain way, correct?
Yeah, and that's what hit, that was the trigger. And then I thought, yeah, that's what my dad would have done. It was something you said or did, and that threw me back.
Okay, yep, this is exactly where you are. So now we can, oh, good job, James, good job. Because guess what? Now you can go into left wrist, first position, nice and deep. Okay. So she's going, this is first position, and she's going to use her pointer finger there. Okay. Just breathe, Brenda. So, while she's doing that, I'm just going to take people right now. Amanda says, I'm OMG right now. I don't know if I was triggered by picking up the energies of Amy or live. Good, Amanda. Good. Amanda, you're also going to do L1D. Find your left wrist, first position. Put your thumb in nice and deep. Put your first finger here. So, like that. See? Like that. Amanda, okay, now this is what you call soul coaching. This is one of the things that we do in the tribal hour for those that are gold members. We're echoing. Anybody else has that? No, sorry, Lenore. Amy's in the middle of healing something. Okay, so okay, a key word that came up is my tribal hours ended up being 3 hours. Criticism. Now, you criticize yourself, Amy? So is this the discipline you do to yourself?
Yeah.
That's exactly kind of like what we talked about in the beginning. When you don't realize that to discipline yourself so that you obey everybody in the room, you create a discipline which is very unhealthy. In this case, in order to cope, she had to discipline herself because she disappointed her father, because her other part of her program is that she was adopted, so she was abandoned. So she's going back into that first experience, and then every proof after, those proofs are the individual experiences that are just as strong. One of them says she has to discipline herself in order for them to not throw her back. Okay. Okay, now, as Amy's doing this, it's a big fat 10. I mean, I would have her measure it, but she's been working on it for a few minutes. Is it still a 10?
Yep.
Okay. Now, this is the tough part, because this is when you're involving within yourself a memory. So, Amy, I'm going to tell you to take your left eye. If it doesn't spaz you out, take and look with your left eye up to the upper left. And what I mean by left eye is because she's choosing to look. So if I'm looking at you, and I'm choosing to close this down, I'm taking all of my vision through the left eye, and she's looking to the upper left. And that's what she's doing. So the format has changed all around, and she wasn't included because I only knew 2 seconds before I got on. But at the same time, it has nothing to do with me as much as it has to do with the filter. So how can you help yourself when these emotional situations take over? And that's what you can do. I mean, like right now, she's with me, so people set up appointments. But otherwise, you can do the OMG. It's going to be strong, but it's not going to be as strong because we're not going to the roots. You can do EFT, and you're tapping on all the meridian points. But if you're doing the short EFT, even though they call it fast EFT, the point about tapping here versus here is this will calm down that army. It will also, when you roll your eyes and you count and you hum, you're accessing left brain, right brain, and the eyes. Okay? And we'll just disconnect that because we don't need it. We're going to disconnect that. Oh, shit. Did I just lose Amy?
No.
Oh, good. Well, I don't know where I've got you hooked in at. Aha, there. That's how I got hooked in. Okay. When you are, this is very, 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 very important to why you have to evolve your particular issues, is because you don't realize how much they control you and your life force. The more you're less you, the more you're going to rely on the outside to make you happy, to help you function, to connect with things. And you're always seeking that if I just connect with this person, then I'll be fulfilled and I won't feel lonely and whatever. Whatever the reason, the excuses, the reasons, or whatever it is, then you're relying on the outside. Because the communication changed, how do you handle it? That usually is the question I'll always ask you. Being more in a spiritual mindset, you don't have to lose your shit. What I have to do is hook up, and talk to the live audience. Okay, so there's all these different things that are going on. Because whatever it is that Amy is going through, her soul says, Amy, it's time to heal this. What? Now, would she have chosen to want to heal that? The issue? Yeah, but everything's going good, so why should I heal the issue? I don't see anything wrong. I can't see it. Unconscious, incompetent, the arrested development. But her soul says, but Amy, your soul contract says that you're supposed to be here and you're still over here. That means we have to, how many licks does it take? Which if you've ever been in the tribal group or anywhere ever on any of my pages, sometimes you'll see a kitty cat going, just a minute, I gotta lick my bitch slapper. Hold on. 1, 2. So how many licks does it take? Sometimes you can have it as a whispering opportunity where all of a sudden spirit gets your attention and you're like, oh, sure, okay. Or slap on the face, kick in the ass, bee sting, all of these things up to the major flying bitch slap. Okay, I told you once, I told you twice, and then you can't recover. You cannot go back to the old you. This is you. This is how you have no choice. Now, even though Mother Earth has bitch slapped us to the point of making us all go to our rooms and think about what we done, it's still not as bad as the flying bitch slap Amy just got. Okay? Her soul says, we have to be over here. We've told you, we've nudged, we did this, a couple looks here and there. And when you don't quite see all the big picture, or you don't have the right experiences to fit, and you put them on the shelf and all of a sudden it'll happen. Now you can have discover the puzzle in a big way, in a very healthy alignment, or you can have a major, bitch slap. It's not even a showdown. You lost before it even started story. She doesn't want to go there. She doesn't want to go there. Her heart says, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. So she's wrestling with herself right now in a wishy-washy way, which means the bladder willpower is saying, I like this, I don't like this. I like this, I don't like this. Oh yeah, I'll do just enough. No. Her body wants her to have her will back, her power back, turn the lights on. Hey, someone's home. She has this grudge. Now, I don't know if I said that in the beginning of her thing, but she has a grudge. And this grudge, is a certain amount of incompatibility. I do not want to be compatible. Again, she's very aggressive on the inside for herself, because you've ever met her, she's this wonderful person, but she's very aggressive inside herself, towards herself. So she's disciplining herself in such a way. But when you hold a grudge, oops, getting the right stream of things here. Grudges, what I will tell you when you are doing this, I can't spell the word grudge for the life of me. Grudge. Oh, there we go. Oh, that wasn't it. I know what I'm doing. My brain is not doing it right. There it is. I'm connecting with her. I'm trying to do a couple things, but you need to define life. I know that word. No, you don't. On a spiritual aspect, thank you. Everybody's spelling it. On a spiritual aspect, you need to define it again. I'm going to tell you why. One, you may have known it, you may have experienced it, but to recall it, to heal it, you need to redefine it. When you do this, you have to get out of your ego mindset, and it'll help you get more into your healing set where you need to be. Number 2, it helps you wake up. It's part of a spiritual investigation tool. Number 3, the mandala. Things freaking change on you, so you have to reline up to what it is. Because if you don't, you're not going to get to the root of it. It's a persistent feeling. Ill will. Did I tell you about will? What did I tell you? I was feeling like, I know it wasn't towards me, but what I felt in the mirror was that it was ill will. Ill will towards her, ill will towards the situation, from her to the situation. It's a resentment resulting from a past injury or hurt. So she's going through filters. This is your black shit bags that need to be emptied. Okay, you can unfold your emotional baggage, but some of these shit bags need to be get rid of. They literally steal your who you are. So how do people hold grudges? I mean, let's explore this. They hold back, they avoid. What else? It's how does one example of doing a grudge? Because a feeling can linger, a strong feeling, still harboring bad feelings. Okay. Envy. Good. And what happens with this is that when you have an emotional response, you have triggered an emotion, which turns into a mood. And if you linger longer, then it becomes into a behavior, a personality, to a temperament. And then that becomes who you are. And that is your personal reality. And you physically won't realize that your physical reality is summed up in that fashion. Oh, now we're throwing lights around. Good one. All right. Let's see where you're at, Amy. If you're able to take it down. You want to do action, but you're not sure because you're very bashful. So now she's turning that will even further into herself because she wants to avoid something. So then you give yourself undue self-instructions. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've learned to turn more of your light off and do what they want or what you think is needed in order to survive. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Now, is it still a 10?
No.
What is it now?
Down to maybe a 3.
Okay. Do you know what's funny? You keep going, honey. You're doing great. No, anybody can make an appointment with me, and we can do all these different types of healing. It's easier when it's in person as far as camera. I can't even see her, but it doesn't need that. Dale says, damn ghost. Don't we wish? No, that was Amy's energy. And it was a sign from spirit. The need for justice. Ooh, that's a good one, Shannon. Hello, James. How are you? Right now, we're in this particular live experience of everything I talked about. Amy says, I'll be a live experience without knowing she volunteered. Our soul's a tricky thing, man.
I kind of figured that out about 5 minutes into the live.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. That is a bright orange. I'm going to have to see if I can find another color. Anyway. So was it me the asshole, or was it the computer the asshole? Was it the videos? Somebody had to show up as the butthead today, and apparently it might have been me.
Well, not necessarily you, but the not being able to see you in real time talking because the lag is so bad between Zoom and Facebook.
Yeah. See, that's why that drives me nuts too. And then that's why you have to find a different option. That's why I said, if you were to somehow have a different a different device. Oh, I hit my camera is completely off center. And of course, can I get it back up? Good thing it wasn't showing things it shouldn't be showing. Oh, I don't even know why even YouTube's running, man. That is so weirdly dark. Leave it. Okay, collective assholeness. That's funny. Oh, so everybody loves you. Everybody's giving you support. You got the same. Oh, how sweet. Dale says, I guess Amy is not able to monitor emails. She will eventually. But he says, I will pay forward one reading at your discretion. Well, that's wonderful. So, yeah, let me check to see if that's come in. So, yes, there is that option. Get the right mouse, Brenda. As soon as that comes in, then we will offer that. So, my face is completely changed. It's crooked. That tells you about my willpower. Ah, there's encouragement there. I love you, Amy. You're amazing, says Amber. James says, in his own little world, because I think he came in late, says, I will say the energy is weird as hell. Yes, it is learning to come to terms with our shit, how we communicate with ourselves. From Arizona, hello. Okay. You all go in high beta. You all do all these things. And you got tools to help you get out of them. We no longer have to have suffering as an option. We never did, but we were convinced. And because we were convinced that that's all we had, it just was like joy was just this miss. The caudate nucleus inside our brain says fear, fear, fear. And fear is one word that's the opposite of love. And fear will control everything from anger to resentment to sadness, anything negative. When that part of your brain starts to flip off, it does, it thrives. Has a heart on all by itself of fear. And when that happens and you have the sliver of joy, it's like, okay, well, I'm happy, but when's the other shoe going to drop? Well, you can heal this. You can literally go in and start to rewire the way the caudate nucleus works inside your head and the way that the limbic system communicates. And you can learn how to heal that parts of yourself that are very, very important. Okay, just so you understand. But you have to have spiritual mindset. You have to do spiritual investigation. There's a part of you. This is why I teach people how to become a spiritual human. So we have some new people that have Teresa says suffering, a good old Puritan burden. Now, the only reason I'm laughing at that is because, in my class many years ago, now this lady, it was in my class, this whole, love her to bits, and we get along great, but spirit sets up the whole session. And so she's over there and I've given an example and we have to shake hands. And so I'm so dramatic, spirit loves to be. We get over to her, and as soon as I touch hands, now have you ever had the strange moment where both of you are propelled to that particular space and time where you both met on a soul level? We both looked at each other, we pulled our hands in way, and we both knew what we just saw. I looked at her, I said, Puritan, right? She says, American Indian, right? And I said, oh yeah, it was you. Yeah, it was you. And we're staring at each other like you would not believe. Because we're both not rejecting what we just recalled. But we also, I was memorizing what I was feeling, seeing, so I could share it with the class. And then finally I looked, I says, wow. I says, what an experience. She says, wow. She's looking around, we're both looking around. Did anybody else see this? And all they could see was that they could tell that we had a moment. Not a moment, was a moment. Oh my God, man, a moment. And so I had to explain that if it wasn't for the fact that I know her and she knows me, we could have easily become enemies right then and there. But because we spiritually were aware, we both seen the parts we acted and played out. And in a particular timeline, it was very interesting. She was the Puritan, and we're like, whoa. We had to sit, we couldn't, neither one of us could function for a good few minutes because, whoa, it's like, it's not, I can't believe this. It's like, what just happened? Whoa, it's happened. You're not fully rejecting it. So understand the stages of this. Amy, how you doing?
I'm good.
So you back?
I was back.
Yay! Now, Ames, can you explain to us what live experience you just had?
I went to my 3-year-old self, 4-year-old self, and my dad pretty much told me to go shut the fuck up and get out of his face. It's where I was in my head.
Did you have a grudge against that after all these years?
Oh, I'm sure.
And you could feel that, yes? Because They said that you did face the root of the grudge. And again, her mind, her subconscious mind triggered the memory. The trigger was based on the way that she couldn't see me through the video, but because of all of the changes from Zoom to browser to Facebook itself, there was a time delay that was so bad that when she was trying to communicate with me in real time, she got stuck into the delayed time, which then messed up her sensory system, which then triggered her to go back to when she was 3. And all of these thoughts and emotions of how she treated herself, thoughts and emotions to how she was treated, thought and emotion how she wanted to treat him back. So all of this energy, this is what you guys do all the time. Come on. I've just like cut it apart and looked at it and said the inside of the frogs are all of this. If you ever notice how to dissect, that's the word I'm looking for. So she used a tool. She had to sit in it for, I have no idea how long I talked for, but you had to sit in it for that length of time. And it kept getting perpetually worse. She said she did high beta. High beta is the definition that here is everything is coherent, everything is beta, but high beta is when you run to the end of your timeline, thoughts go nuts, you have all these emotions, everything is dredge, everything is crap, everything is, oh, Dale said you were in internet limbo. How interesting. Yeah. And so anyways, she was stuck there. And she could have had a bad day. She could have ran with it. She could have done it for a month if she wanted. She could have, but.
Oh, hell no. God.
But you would have in the past before you met me.
Oh, yeah.
You would have had no choice. That's the thing. Yeah. You have a choice. Because you have a choice and you beginning to know the tools, and because you're learning how to spiritual investigate and how to look for the clues and the gems and put things on the shelf, there's a whole glossary to this whole thing, how to become a spiritual human. And you can learn all this with us. You can tribal member, and eventually the classes are going to open up. I can feel them getting closer, Ames. But those will be paid classes. But you're back, and that's good. Okay, so Dale said it was about 30 minutes that you had to sit into that. And how fast?
It was an hour.
It was an hour? How fast was your recovery time when we decided to heal it?
Shit, what, 15 minutes maybe?
15 minutes versus, and if you didn't, and in the past, it would have been endless.
Yeah.
So you don't have to suffer, people. Let's get rid of that old paradigm of suffering, like Teresa said. Let's get rid of it. You have enough of all of the stuff about it with your first, second, and third chakra. You get enough data. It's time to resolve, to evolve, and balance out that security, safety, and stability and joy. Oh my. Okay. Yes, when you begin to so how do you, the only way to show you is go through it and live it. And the only way I know how to do this is to demonstrate it the best way I can. Spirit provides every time. That is what I've learned, and that is what I stick to. And there's always a third option. And I don't, like, when I was going through my experience yesterday, and my husband's sitting there sweetly enough, it's like I'm looking at him going, please don't ask. Yes, I'm in my own shit, but please don't ask, because I see a trigger. I'm trying to figure this out. All he says was, you're not your happy, usual self. What's up? I can't talk about it right now. Okay. Yeah, so he's like concerned. Should I snuggle with her? I'm thinking, my energy is like, fuck off. My broadcast messages, I'm like, oh my God, just stop it. And so it's like, but I couldn't heal it the way that I want to. I had to collect something first. So thank God for TV shows. That's all I got to say. What is our first? Let me look. And yes, we have a paid and from Dale, and we're going to, we're going to let Spirit choose. And this is how we're just going to trust Spirit. So we're going to wait, and we'll find out. We will find out. So we have one free paid forward reading that's up. So we're going to find out. I don't know how Spirit's going to show me who it is, but they always do, don't they, Aim?
Yep, they do.
All right, let's give me a 1 minute reading. Now, again, if you pay.
The first one is Michelle. What does she need to heal next?
So did you ever, first of all, is that our Michelle?
Our Michelle, yes.
Okay, Michelle, hopefully you got your answer the other day, and something else is cleared on that. She knows what I'm talking about. the thing is that, Michelle, when it comes to what my secure is out, my secure is out based on, so your security is out because of being oversympathetic. So it's just living outside herself instead of inside herself. And you want her to get back in. To do that, you have to hold L1D. And they said because it is, don't want severed love. I don't want severed love. I don't want to repeat something that happened to me when I was 4. So in order to help you do that, connect up with what happened at 4. Was there a severed love? And then hold L1D. And then you will do it in that fashion. Remember, L1D is this here. Notice, Michelle, how the aggression and everything else is on the inside while you're trying to stay calm about what's going on the outside. Okay. Oh, before we go any further, understand if you're looking for a paid 6 minutes that's all about you, attention to you, you can. And all you have to do is type in, go to the Zoom, type that Zoom number in, and you can come onto the show. Okay, Ames. LaRonda, you're doing better. Make sure you are rubbing those points on your ankle, but the one spot behind, I think it's bladder 60, and the one in the crick of your knee, because mainly the right side, it looks like. But at the action is that you're working through your second chakra, and it's about how you felt shame as a child, and the shame of being so strong, shame of being so stubborn, the shame. The shame is that you took your will and tried to hide who you were because it wasn't accepted. Who you were, whoever wasn't accepted, because shame says it wasn't accepted. So whoever you were. And that is what you're beginning to learn, is that you are this magnificent thing, and this soul, and this being, and every aspect of yourself, that you don't have to take your will and force it to be something else. Okay? This room number, the room Zoom number, like I said, the only way you can get into the Zoom is with a number. And that's 862-223-514. But my 514, that's area code 514. Sorry, that's where I was at. Anyway, but you have to pay to get onto the show. So I'm going to look, and then right now we just have what's a paid forward from Dale. But I haven't decided who that is yet. Thank you, Dale. So again, the only way you can get in is if you pay, which is $11. And how you pay is through PayPal. Don't forget the question mark there. Who's next? Ooh, somebody's in there crying. Danny.
It says, I wanted to see suggestions you guys and Spirit had to help me advance my independence. As much as I love my dad, I also want to live in my own place eventually. But manifesting like crazy, but a little guidance never hurts. Danny.
Exactly. Well, I asked, are you ready? And they said no. I said, so what does she really need to dress to be ready to have her own place? 2 things. First thing has to do with the fact it is what you do toward yourself. It's the way you discipline yourself and the way you self-talk, because you're going to defeat yourself every time. Second, it has to do with the energy that's within yourself, and that has to do with your will. And in this case, they're saying that there's a part of you that holds grudges, and because that energy of 100% of your life force, and most of it's going to holding grudges or having to discipline yourself in a certain way, you need that in order to move forward so that you can have this independence. But you have to heal the longing. I would say heal the longing, and that's R3D. And then R1D is that you put self-imposed limitations because of those grudges and all that. You will literally stop yourself. So you need to do that.
It won't let me pin, Tilly.
Oh, this whole thing is screwy. So what are we pinning up?
The
I'll wait for her to answer. She'll tell me. So I can
pin posts that I always pin so that they can see what the price is. It's $11 today.
Oh, okay. That's not who I want. That's interesting. It's not even letting me pin. I can't even copy. How in the heck? Oh, well, that's freaky deaky.
And it hasn't even come up. I can usually pin from my iPad, and it won't let me do it from there either. It doesn't even show it on my iPad.
Yeah, see, the only way I can access this is through
the computer.
No, I can't even access it through any. I can go through Zoom, which usually picks up, but it won't pick it up. So I would have to type. Yeah, see, I'm not even the owner of this one, so I can't even, because that goes under as Brenda. Well, that sucks peanuts. Oh, how about this? Hold on, I got one more avenue. Let's see if I can do that. So if I go here, I need to put my peepers on.
No, I don't even see it on the iPad that I have. I'll try and come and paste it again.
So if I go here and I say open up, and then I go here, I can like my own comment. That's hilarious. What the hell? All right, so
Dale, it's a conspiracy.
It is. Yes.
Danny Love, your timestamp is 1:53.
Wow, they will not let me go in as Brenda. I mean, as medicine woman. What kind of sign is that? Yes, my peepers have to see my peeps. Peep, peep. And that has to do with birds. I could see that all over the place. What the... Okay, I want to say, what are the... That's not funny. I'm not saying that, Spirit. They said it. What is the graffiti skid marks? That's... What the hell does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Wow. They got to get their shit together. But the beautiful part is we can sneak through all these back doors. That's what I see. All right. I'm not going to block myself. That'd be stupid.
Yeah, what?
Okay. Well, y'all just going to have to learn to scroll. Or we're going to have to cut and paste. I can't even cut and paste. I can't even copy and paste. That's what sucks. I'm not
well, I can just keep posting it.
So you're going to have to. Resolve to evolve. Yeah. Oh, good point. Melinda, Spirit, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? It says because you're dealing with a helplessness state that has to do with helplessness, which is the over time, this is just hopeless, which means there is this... Oh, I got to face the fact that I hate having to repeat certain things. That's the little details. Oh, that's a whole nother freaking show all by itself. Oh, good Lord. Can we correct it? Mm-hmm. All right, so we could correct it in some form if we chose to. Because that's everybody's doing. What about me? The lack of power. So on a collective scale... Wow. It's learning how to not lose your shit. Aw, thank you, Dale. Everybody's going to cooperate. This is what you call a collective whole. Okay. Now, do we have our first read? Or, sorry, any of those things? Emails.
1 minute reads?
Yeah, I can't. My brain's not in conjunction. Conjunction, junction.
Hey, Betty.
What's your function? Hooking up car. Oh, wait. That's a clue. Not for Betty, but for me. All right, we got to hook up those conjunction cars. So, let's see. Okay, Miss Betty, one of the things I do see is there's something that's been repressed. Do we need to look at what's repressed? They go, no, because at 9 years old, it has to do with working through the first chakra about how to survive and feel at home. And they said you developed several behaviors, and because you had to get out of being bashful. And so you had to put on, they're telling you that they want you to address two masks that you have created. So, and they will use the word pout. No. Yep. They use the word pout, suspicion, bitterness. Remember, bitterness is defined in 2 words, anger and disappointment, which affects the metabolism and your nervous system. And they said that then it created a certain behavior. So you're triggered and you're addicted to that behavior. I asked what kind of behavior. They're saying, I'm an it, damn it, and I'm tired of being an it. It. Who's next?
Vicky.
Vicky. L1D. What's Kenneth up to? Did you just say Vicky?
I just said Vicky.
I don't know where I was. I was stuck in I think between time zones. Hold on. Because you said Vicky, but I was already looking at Vicky. And then I was looking at Vicky. And the interesting part was it said that she's been contemplating something very uniquely. And I'm like, what do you mean uniquely? And then it said, well, remember, she said something this morning. Yeah, like you need to see me, my mouth hanging open. Oh, let me take that off. Let's see. I show. So, Amy, pull a card. Just say it. Pull a card.
Impasse. It's the
impasse. Everybody's at an impasse.
Yes.
What fork do you want? Okay. So the time log of not her talking throws me off. And I know she's looking at what empath is, or impasse. So I won't read until I know.
And in a reroute, not an ending. The path is blocked and you are at an impasse, but the goal is still there. Do not wait for your present situation to change. Stay focused and find another path. Personal inquiry. How acceptable am I? What does this card reveal about my feelings and my reaction and delays? Keywords: change of direction, regroup, refocus, protection from harm, guardian angels, and keywords is wisdom, opportunity, and surrender.
So when we are at this impasse, it is important to understand. So I'm going to just look up real quick. When it comes to what's going on with Vicky. Now, Vicky, you can give me permission to talk about this a little bit more so I'm not so evasive. But she has wrote me earlier, and I never got to read it, but it was open and staring at me. And I said, I'll get back to that. And so sometimes when we have those inner thoughts, inner parts of ourselves, This is panic. This is panic and insecure. And this panic and insecure was developed at 3 years old. And it is about towards self. It's about how you treat yourself towards yourself. And you have aged and allowed yourself not to have to be pulled in with that, to that helplessness or anxiety. So Vicky says, yes, I can. So here's an interesting little thing. So she says, so I'm doing a meditation, and we'll just have to ignore the timer. I'm doing a meditation, and I have been feeling increasingly weird in terms of my inner child. She named this inner child Sam. That, yes, you can have male and female inner child that just showed up out of nowhere, and I have a really hard time liking him or wanting to comfort him. And a little while ago, out of the now when we go to do inner child work, one of the things is that you learn how to be a parent towards your inner child. Okay, just so you understand where this is coming from. And a little while ago, out of my subconscious comes this thought or belief that Sam is somehow a transplant or was out there to fuck with me. And there's all these ugly thoughts are coming from, and I was being told that I need to get rid of him. He is an attachment and not even mine. Have you ever heard of anything? Yes, I have. Okay, you got to understand that in a, depending on which esoteric terms or mystery school you're at, this is a level of a belief system that does occur. If you do past life hypnotherapy, you will see attachments that are attached, and you can talk to them, and they have to leave at their own free will, but there is a way to do this. Then there are other belief systems that follow suit along that path. Now, as I'm looking, we attract these energies in based on the fact that we are a magnet. And what you have to understand, again, there's like so many theories here. If you were having that Sam, what was going on? And then in this case, you had a repressed particular part of you about self-preservation. That's number one. Number two, when was it? 3. Then what was born out of it? An attachment. Is this attachment another individual soul? No. Is it a thought process? No. Is this an aspect of yourself so long ago? And they said yes, but it's like when you color with your emotions. Again, what was the key thing? Repressed. So you repressed a particular part of yourself. And how we cope handling with as kids, like I cut out parts of myself. I literally threw them out in the field because I didn't know how to cope, handle, and deal with it. So if this particular part of you, an aspect of you, a mirror of you, or whatever it is that you want, we're going to just put it here, is that it needs to be addressed regardless. And once you address it a certain way, it will transform itself, because that's all energy is. So if we were to say, well, what do you want to work on? It's the pride and the rejection, and that it's an it. If you were to say, what kind of pride? How do you get wounded pride? How you're supposed to be? Is it about being proudful, like being vain, being proud of yourself? Or is it this if you were to look at healthy pride, it can be a spiritual alignment of being proud. But if you're in an ego mindset and you have pride and you would never lower yourself beneath this or do this, there are some old time paradigms that our parents had that no longer serve. Like, I can't take money. That's charity. It would hurt my pride. Be proud of myself. The pride. You have to look at some of these things. Okay. And if you ask spirit, you'll be able to hear that. But you can't do something because these things won't let you. That thing is this particular pride. It is the ego aspect, just so you understand. And so you're waking up saying, I don't want certain things. And then this becomes again, repression. If you begin to hear what I've said, it's like, how do you do the right and wrong thing? How do you do certain things? Okay. Now, this is what usually can mean when you feel like it's another attachment. But again, it is feelings, it is emotions. And if it is a particular paradigm of behaviors, things that mirror consciousness that you're hearing, you can create it to be this part of you that you don't want to accept and be. And so it's like a form of a knot. Okay. So it's an engram also, which means if you understand an engram, it is that particular moment when everything equals everything. Good equals bad, bad equals good, and that you have the light and that represents bad, or the dark represents that it's bad or good. It's all wrapped up in negativity, and they're all triggers because it's trying to go back to a very specific point. And if I were to look at what this was about, they said it has to do with lofty energies. When this lofty energy can control you, hurt you, damage you, watch any scary movie, how the lofty energy is, how every child has to be timid and scared of the particular parent, then that's lofty energy. You have to look at how this part of you that you didn't know how to deal with, you have shut down, closed up because it was, and then you attract these energies in, which then it says that it's also unreal, which means they're borrowed memories, they're borrowed thoughts, things that you watched over time, things that you listened to, things that you have imagined or creative. It is time to take your energy off them and stop believing. The reason I'm taking longer on this is not because she's just my intern or she's my student or intern, but this is a very, very important thing for you to understand. When I have my one-on-one clients, this is usually what stuff will come up. You're hitting at a very deep, deep level of yourself. And there are parts of yourself that, and in the main thing that you have to understand is emotions. And emotions, what about me? It's a phrase, but it's still a fucking emotion if you feel it. What about me? It is a way to describe something you cannot just say. It's and sometimes you just feel no empathy from others, and that maybe you had to employ that you had to have no empathy in order to survive. And that's very important. If I ask spirit, you're talking about learning on looking, feeling, but the healing, tapping, hope therapy. And you're going to have to remember it's stored in the heart. So it's L1D. You have to look at L2S and then R2D, because the self-loathing is from the R2D. The L2S has to do with this bitterness. And then the heart says, what the fuck? It's the love-hate relationship. It is the frightful overjoyed. It is the exacerbation, the high beta. It is the sometimes there's just no word for it. It's just this. That's important, Vicki. That's important. So we're going to take James next. James, if you'd like to come on or do it like this, you have to tell me so that we can work on it. After James, it will be Melinda. Okay, and then after Melinda will be Pilly, and after Pilly, Pilly wrote.
Pilly's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and I've got the names.
Okay, and Dale has another second. So we have Sarah's pushed me second paid forward. So, all right. So there's 2 up for grabs. Pilly is paid it forward to people she's chosen, and is that correct?
Yes.
And then we have nope. Dale says the magic number's 3, so Dale has 3. So some of you can say yes, please. Okay, and then Amy will write you down. Can you see that when they say yes, please?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so James, how would you like to do this, my love? Aha, there it is. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna make it bigger, and I need my peepers. Okay, been working hard on what you have told me to heal last time with my ex, so that it won't affect my new relationship. Good. Things have gotten a little better with my new one, but not a lot. Hoping I'm on the right path. Is my new one insecurities part of this growth too? The scopes I have read said Yes, so this is relationship will grow stronger. Okay, so now let's get you going, James. Oops, what is up with this? It just keeps falling out. This battery just does not like, or not, it's a slope. Stop it. Okay. You're getting better. Now remember, it is not just suppressing, it is evolving. They said the next thing that you need to do with your ex is that you have to work on the alarm, the alarm that pulls you into this particular direction. And okay, it's the one I thought. You have to learn to keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. So when you're working with it, you have to understand, don't get confused what a definition of a soulmate is. My ex was my soulmate, but my twin flame is my husband. But you can have many different soulmates. These are people that have designatedly said they'll push you to the core sometimes so that you will work on your shit. So they said that this has to do with the alarm. You're pointing to the word M. Not, what are you talking about? I'm not. Okay, so it's not even about a soulmate. How hilarious. But it is, the word is just about keeping an open mind. So if you have this deck, that's why some people are going to say, well, she didn't say it correctly. Okay, so keep that out of mind. The keep an open mind has to do with the position you put yourself into. That he does. He repeatedly, so you're meant to see how you repeatedly, how that alarm repeatedly puts you into the second chakra communication that you haven't evolved from yet. And the one thing you're stuck on, which seal? The closest, the etheric body, the emotional. Okay, so then it has to do with the incoming energy from spirits not coming through. And the front is the feeling center. And it has the quality of love for the opposite sex, giving and receiving physical, mental, and spiritual pleasures. And the second chakra is this part that says there's too much guilt. So there's a part of you that is, if you want to give pleasure, whether it is sexual, mental, emotional, or spiritual, and if you have guilt. So guilt can be tricky because you may not realize what guilt feels like for you, acts like for you. But that's what you're supposed to discover, is how it is meant to, how guilt affects you. Let me look here. Passive, what you do to yourself, to others. So do you use guilt for others? Or do you use guilt on yourself? Or do you let other people guilt you? They want you to begin to notice how the energy direction is playing out, because it's not even one-sided or two perspectives. It's three perspectives now. But how would you work with the guilt? And that is, so do you get, oh God, really? Excuse me. Oh, my digest. Okay, James, do you get off on, does it make you feel good? Can you feel like when you're like, this is not you. Let me just explain this for you to understand it. Oh my God, I just want to do, so you want this revenge and you want this things, and you can get, actually a person can get off on it, can be happy and can get excited. It thinks it's feeding them, but it's not. It goes into this particular emotional aspect. And what happens is that some people actually enjoy being in this particular hell. So if you're addicted to that chemical and then you're trying to change yourself and you don't know that you had this, you'll have to come back and do this. And there's a certain amount of guilty pleasure, and that's what they're saying, is that you get pleasure off of, or they do, and you can feel, oh God, because I can see your ex having, making you feel guilty, and they're like, yeah. And there's a certain pleasure off it, but at the same time, you pick that feeling up, and then there's this ball in play, I should say. Okay? There's a big problem with this ball that's in play, is that it's just addictive, and it's just going to keep going back and forth. How would you change that, James? Is that you really need to understand that you don't want to go in there and get your heart broken, but that's all you're doing. But the heart broken is when you were really 2 years old. And this was, again, how you saw your family and you observed, and it hurt. And it was just something that you knew. So you have to look at guilt, and you'll have to do this, and you'll have to start pulling it out of your heart, L1D. You need to literally get in there and push in, and you're going to have to look at this guilt in different aspects. Write it down. Guilt, this, guilt. You enjoying the guilt. Oh, wow, I am. You have to come to that realization. Or do you see people have pleasure over guilting you? You need to notice that, because it creates a reaction. And if you can begin to hold that and then stare at that down, then if that's the case, that's when you move to L2S. In that second position, you're going to move to L2S, because you want to go left wrist in the second position here, so that you can literally feel this. Okay, so once you begin to notice how much power you're losing because they enjoy it, and you heal that one down to 0, you're really going to start unhooking these little hooks that affect you. Okay, honey? All right. You can do this, James. You've done so well. You can do this one. Now, Melinda is next. Melinda, get into my right camera zone here. You want to come onto the show, you can do that. There's the number. And then after that, then we will do what Pilly's paid for. Pilly says, okay, this is for 5 and 6. I have one extra here just in case someone else tells me they want one. You know what all that means, Amy?
Yep.
Okay, good. And then we have Kenneth is the after that. So then Kenneth. Okay. So you're welcome, James. You can do this, honey. I know. I have faith in you. I have faith.
I read earlier somewhere that Melinda said something about she was paying for mine when you were healing me.
All right. So Melinda, tell me if that's what that is. If that's what I'm supposed to do with it, then did we do it already? Is that the case? Or am I supposed to do another one? Melinda, okay, we'll wait for Melinda to talk to us. We'll see what happens.
Okay, paid for Amy. Our issues are similar, I'm sure. XOXO.
Oh, well, that was so. We want to notice that we have a hope chest. Every time anybody's paid, like James is paid, his name goes into hope chest. Pilly, all the ones she's done, she goes into the hope chest. And then the Melinda, okay, now that we understand what Melinda wanted, okay, her name goes in the hope chest. And this is a 15-minute free reading with me on the show. And that's, all at once, all in a row. Oh, you sweet thing, Melinda. Thank you very much for paying it forward, because that's really going to, it helps. It helps the world. Now we're going to move on from there to Pilly, and you have that information for me.
Okay. Do you want to start with Pilly? She's got.
Whoever, just guide me, because this is what I have to do. I'm trusting.
Okay, Linda Love.
Linda Love. Now, if you know these people and if you talk to them and any of them want to come onto the Zoom, they need to come into and get back to the right screen, Brenda. I need to know. Otherwise, this is the way we're doing it, is this way. Because of the time factor, and we've already been a couple hours in, they kick us off at a certain time. So
we're good. We're at 2.5 hours.
Okay, I can say, because I have no timestamp, so I have no freaking clue. All righty, Linda Love. We're going to give it another second. I don't know what she wants to talk about. I got to connect with her in some form. This delay sucks so bad. And again, what we'll do is that if you're going to be next, who's after Linda Love, so that we can kind of get this idea?
Brittany.
So Linda Love, Brittany. Who else?
Nethy, Jennifer H, and Pilly.
Okay, so we have, that's all that's going to happen. And then we have the free ones. Before we can get to the free ones, we will go into, that's all of Pilly, right?
That's all of Pilly. And then Pilly, yeah.
And then Kenneth will be after that. And then the other readings that Dale has put forward will be then. Okay, so you guys be ready. Because I need to move quickly. Yeah, so we're just waiting for a second here. So all the rest of you, Pilly and you talk to two of these people about what they want, how they want to come on, what is their question. Otherwise, I'm going to dive in. Get the right screen again. Okay, so here I go. Linda Love. They're telling me to pick up these cards here, so that's what we'll do. Oh, the light has changed dramatically in here. Yeah, that's interesting. Stay optimistic about your love life. So it's about the way you think. And they said that sometimes the way you think will attract that type of soulmate or person that's supposed to come in. And if we were to look at this, they said you have a forlorn. And forlorn is that pitifully sad. I should just have my phone up. Let me just look it up again, because it's important that, because if you have a forlorn, if you have an emotion, it will prevent you. It is an actual block, and it will stop you from being in, and I repeat, from being in where you want to be. I want a relationship. I want this. If you're carrying an emotion, which is what you're doing, you're forlorn. It says pitifully sad, abandoned, or lonely. If you have any of that description, you got to understand that is the filter. That is the energy that actually blocks you from allowing anybody to come into your space, even if they're standing right before you. You have to address forlorn. Okay? They said that they want you to address forlorn, but you have to notice that what goes with that forlorn is that it's an alarm. Like the word abandonment. Amy has so many wonderful friends, okay? But the problem is it goes back to when she was abandoned as a kid. She's been healing out all of the proof along the way. Abandonment. People can abandon your feelings. People can abandon paying attention to you. You can be in a relationship and they abandon you right then and there. Oh, it's really messing up with my digestive system. Yes, working on feeling and healing. Yeah. So Linda, the thing is that it's so you will always have to see through that filter that they've abandoned you, even if they didn't. That's the interesting part. So they said you have to get it out of your heart. The thing is, it says I don't want to be confident. A don't is a very interesting thing, because it's I don't want my heart crushed, but I don't. It's not that I can't. I don't. It means that the will says it won't participate because it doesn't want to feel something. If I ask it, like, what doesn't it really want to feel? And it says it really just doesn't want to feel the awkwardness, because awkwardness leads to hopelessness, because here it comes. And so your ego thinks it's protecting you, and it literally is it's creating a lockdown. So you would need to heal awkwardness, and that is set into the heart, because you're like, I don't know what to do in this part right here. If you understand L1D, I'm sure Pilly and all of those will tell you, is you take your left wrist, first position's right here, put your finger there. You're going to take your thumb, push in deep, put your fingers around, and then this is the very main important to really make sure this healing tool works. And you are touching the top hairline and the forehead, and you're going to stay there, and you're going to put it on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being you must measure this feeling Look at the word that's very strong connected to you, and that is forlorn. Feel the experience of the pitifulness, sad, the abandonment, or the loneliness. However you describe it, it is the way you've defined it, and that is your words, and that's your voice, and that means you're going to be able to communicate with that inner child to the extent of understanding how important things are. Okay, just so you know. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So when you're also in that position, they said you're going to want to do this, but I feel like you're going to pull yourself up because it feels uncomfortable. When you have an uncomfortable feeling, literally you won't know you're doing it, but you'll avoid, and then you'll go into what's familiar. Familiar is your identity, but it's not. But familiar is, this is what it is. Okay? And it's not. This, so you have to catch when you start to go back into uncomfortable, familiar. When you're feeling a certain way, Linda, you need to catch those aspects of yourself, because you'll wake up a couple hours later and you realize that, meaning, oh, I was working on that. How did where time fly? You're beginning to wake up in the matrix, and you'll begin to break away this particular feeling. But the reason you say don't is because I don't want diminish my light. I don't want to be crushed anymore. So there's a deep feeling of being crushed. Okay. Okay. Now.
Okay.
Yes.
Since people pop in, so we have 3 paid it forward readings up for grabs. So if you would like to be in the drawing, say yes, please.
Yeah, because people that are in the room, you have a chance to win a 6-minute reading with me right now. But you have to say yes, please, for your name to go into the hope chest. Okay. All right. So Linda says, yes, I'm at that point where I am allowing myself to truly feel the awkwardness. It's got to get that out, get it down to 0. And the yucky feeling I am in my gut from these emotional pains. Yes, we got to get that out. That's very important, Linda. Why is it doing that? Okay. No more hiding. Yeah. Yes. Good. It is time I shine and feel the joy I have within. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Very good. Yes. Now, as we look, why is this even up here? I have no idea. Aha. Now, if you've paid, that's the only way you can get into the room. So the next person on the list is who?
Neppy.
And I don't think Neppy goes by Asharana Kanya.
No, it's Neppy in the feed. Correctly? Okay.
All right. So somebody wants in the room, but I'm going to have to, Neppy. Well, just follow the screen. I can't see. So Neppy is next. And I'm going to set the timer and go. I'll look up in a minute then. Where, oh, where's my little dog gone? Where, oh, where can it be? I have no idea what it is. If there's a song that I keep hearing. So something has been communicating with you. So spirit guys, something has been talking to you. So that's who Kenneth is. Okay, thank you for identifying Kenneth. Appreciate that. Now, notice this song, okay? So there's something that's playing over and over that's rhythmically changing you. You got to understand, you are made of musical notes here. These are frequencies that go up and down. And they said there's a particular pattern that you're doing. Oh, we're going to go right at, that's not, okay. So something at birth, in birth, after birth, right after, seconds after you're born, What is the story then? It has to do with, okay, so the muffling, that because we develop our hearing. So the muffling, then when you wake up, you came out of the womb, the hearing's going to be different. And they said there was so much awkwardness when you came out of that womb that wow, it diminished the character. And where is my little dog lost? Where? So you feel lost. There's something to do with feeling lost. You're looking for a connection. You're looking for something that feels familiar. And when you came out, they said you didn't feel like anything was compatible when you were born, Nethy. And it was something to do with not feeling the bond. So do you have a bond with your mom? Do you have a bond? Do you have a bond with the environment or not? Because, oh, not sure if she fell asleep. Okay. There's this vulnerability. I keep getting lost. I keep feeling vulnerable, and I'm literally feel out of place. I want to connect to something that's familiar. Oh, that makes sense. When I moved here, it was like, even though it was familiar, it wasn't familiar to me. Where was the things that I had, my identity, my stuff? Genetics, where were we going? They said something to do with there's too much genetic influence. So an epigenetic influence? Yes. So too much of a personality trait that's coming through. And they said one of them is suspicious, takes offense, overbearing, anger or excitement, and criticism. So the first thing I noticed that I didn't say was that it was criticism, and then we're going back with that. So is this who you are? This is what you know. This is what you don't want to connect with. You're saying that the epigenetics within yourself is what you noticed when you came out of the womb. But you did not connect with that? Wow. So are you not connecting with who you are? Yes. So therefore I feel vulnerable. Wow. All right. This is deep. So you numb to that. So because you couldn't, you went numb to that. There's a certain kind of a numbing. What? Disapproval. Oh my God, my computer fell asleep. Wake up. Disapproval. You disapproved. Wow. This is a spirit that was awake and didn't really fully connect with being this particular human aspect. Experienced this on a deeper level. And so when did you finally, yes, about 2 weeks into it, you started to connect. You're stuck here. But you still have certain things that you numb to. What are you going? You're saying there's something that's it's just a lot, excessive. So the excessive has to do with feeling like an it. I don't belong. And that you have an intolerance to people treating you this way. I don't not. Okay. It's like, you fully remember that. What about the it? It's my dogmatic positions. It's just my dogma. It's just my same shit, different day. It's an it. I don't know how to make it stop because of that strong experience of not being able to connect with who you were to who you are. So if you're being a spirit with that particular thing coming in, you don't know how to connect with this life, with this who this meat suit is and who these people are. I can't wait until she tells me whether that's true or not. Because at the same point you had to give up expectations because you realized that you can't live that. I don't know if you fully accepted that you're human, but you're in that state. Ooh, that was deep. Wow. Okay, who's next?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Oh, a whole lot of disdain going on. Okay. When we talk about disdain, this one, I remember how this one really affected me. Disdain. If we can get it, we'd be happy. The feeling that someone or something is unworthy or one's consideration and respect. Oh, a disdain. Considered unworthy. He disdained his parents as an inferior rebel. Disdain. A pattern of attitude and behavior, often towards an individual group, but sometimes towards, a thought, an ideology, which has the characteristics of disgust and anger. Disdain. Notice the two words, disgust and anger. And this is, and it comes from contempt, or meaning scorn, contempt, disdain, disgust, and anger. So Jennifer, when it comes, where's my screen? When it comes to this feeling, you've got to decide if that's you against the world, if it's the world against you, or if it is how you are against yourself. And is this story, there it is. I believe my thoughts. Okay, you are a spiritual human. You do not have to believe your own thoughts you have, because they are a form of whether in the right eyes, in the sensory system of the right eyes, it is about this creating imagination or lying to yourself. So this is the construction zone. This left side is how we memorized, and how this is our experience, and this is our memories, and that is real. It's the pictures. But when we're having a conversation with ourselves, and have you ever like, God, you're an idiot, where did that come from? But you're not ready to find that out. What you're ready to find out is, I don't have to believe these thoughts, because you are waking up, my girl. You're waking up. And those thoughts feel like you, but it's time for you to say, no, I take my power off it. They said the biggest thing is that you have taught yourself so well with disciplining yourself in this way, that if you discourage yourself in this way, you will be able to do what others want you to do. Do you understand this, Jennifer? Do you get this? This is huge, okay? Because they're saying that you have developed this disdain or this hate for certain parts of yourself, of what you're doing, a certain action. And if that's the case, then you are actually making yourself, you're your own worst enemy. And that you've taught yourself that you have to become very self-centered in order to live in whatever day-to-day activity. You are really at a core piece, Jennifer. You're totally not following. This is very deep. You're going to have to go back to the beginning of what emotions are. There is something, okay. You're going to go back to the beginning, and you're going to have to connect with the word disdain. Do you know what disdain is? Anger and disgust. Do you know that? Tell me yes or no, Jennifer. Do you know that? Okay, because yes, it may
probably make sense later.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that it is when, see, yes, they say that you're confused right now, and this is because you don't realize you discourage yourself. Do you discourage yourself? Do you know what discouragement is? Because there's a certain hatred that you can do. I hate when I do that. It can be that simple. Your body will make your mouth say things. Oh, I got to pee. Or I got to do this. But you don't realize that your body is making you speak. So you can hear certain things. Do you understand? She said yes. Now let's look. Do you have grudges? It doesn't matter what direction, toward yourself, towards other, or people have it towards you. You have to define if these emotions are going to control your world that you want to live in. You've got to stop lying to yourself. You got to wake up and realize these thoughts, these negative thoughts, don't have to have any power over you. You do not have to believe your own insane thinking. Do you understand? Okay. Yes, I say this. Yes. Okay, good. Now she's getting a connection. Now, they say you're doing this because every time your love is unreceived, it became this particular pattern. Okay? The first part of the healing tool is you need to start to make the connections. This is going to be becoming aware with thank you, with grace and ease, and spirit will show you without having to have a bitch slap. You're going to go, oh, there it is. Ooh, there it is. Oh, and then you may have a live experience where you feel it. Oh, okay. What does that mean? It means that you will be able to then eventually heal it. The only healing tool I can tell you at this point is the OMG or EFT. You can go on my site and you can literally begin to do eye accessing to pull out particular things that you see. Okay. Do you want her to be? No, it's just the way that the way people are creative in your family. So you just have to watch. Who's next?
Brittany.
Jennifer says, oh yes, this makes sense. Way different area. Way different area to connect than I expected. Yes. You're ready to do a deep layer of something. Brittany.
Okay, her question is, how can I help my 8-year-old daughter? She is overcome with a lot of negativity.
Okay, so if your 8-year-old daughter is going to, still in the mirror consciousness stage, if you have the same issue, overwhelmed with negativity, how are you showing her to do this? OMG. Oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed right now, and start using a tool. You have to demonstrate how
she's heading to Zoom.
Excellent. Bring her on. I'll stop the timer. I will do that. Because that's huge. I mean, you have to really, oh, wow. There's a bunch of dead people here. I mean, freshly dead.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is.
Like days or hours or minutes?
I can't tell. There's no time there. It's just very intensely cold.
Hello.
Hey, I think I hear you. Don't see you, but I can hear you. Yay, gotcha.
It's our midnight rendezvous, so it's bath and candle.
I'm impressed. Okay. All right. So you have your 8-year-old daughter. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just don't drop me in that bathtub, young lady.
Okay. Oh no, you should see me when I have the cord plugged in. It gets pretty dangerous then.
Woman! Keep yourself safe. Okay. All right, I'll set the timer right now. Okay, so she's gonna watch you continuously all the time. And that's the thing that the children don't know this, but you really need to understand if you're
I actually don't have custody of her.
Okay. But when you do, now do you get to talk to her like this? How do you communicate?
Yeah, she's here for the summer. That's why I'm asking, so that we work on it.
Good. Again, she's still going to see you act this way. How you respond is going to be how she's going to be able to handle life. So you're going to show her different little things by demonstrating, taking that emotion. And if she looks like she's overwhelmed, oh, just a minute, Mama's overwhelmed. Mama's going to put Mama in timeout and take time for myself just for a moment. There's a lot going on, but it's overwhelmed. You need to identify particular things that you see that she's doing and act as if that you're doing them, and don't fake it, because if you really are doing it, take and really apply it. When a child wants to be heard versus be healed, it's a big difference, because we'll get to the stage where we want to resolve it. For a child, you're going to catch them go from, I'm trying to figure out a way to get attention. I'm trying to figure out a way to get a certain need meant. Mm-hmm. And that means sometimes they have to go through a certain amount of behavior. And how can they cope, handle, and deal with it? Well, they don't. That is the coping and handling, dealing. So if she wants something, she doesn't want to become an it. So she's trying to figure out, how do I become something more than just an it? And that means you have to sit down and have different conversations with her in what she likes. It is connecting with her, and so it's pre-hormone. So that's even better, because it is. But I also feel like she runs the program that she believes she's deprived.
Yes.
Okay. As I'm looking at this deprived, it's a certain amount of vulnerability that she does. She has no idea that the program's running. She can feel it. Mm-hmm. And will she let you touch her, as far as like rubbing certain points? How close and connected can you be with her?
Yep.
Excellent. So when she does this depriving, and you can begin to see it, she will go into this self-centered aspect of herself to recover. And when that happens, she then starts to put up the walls around her heart. And they're saying that one of the things you can do is that you can say, let mama rub your feet, as a way to give attention. And if she allows it, the one point you're really going to have to understand is that there's this point right here by the toe of a break. It's you'll feel it, because it'll be the bone and it'll indent. Okay.
It is so funny you're telling me that point, because she pointed to her foot yesterday and told me that spot on her foot hurt.
Good God, I love it, because the energy is being deprived there, and that is the willpower, that is the fluids, that is the bladder meridian. So if you could massage, and this is where you can take and put your finger here and your thumb here, and then you could actually learn how to build the immune system up, as well as help with the side of the foot, the bladder. And then you can rub even further, which is right here. So you'll be going here, okay? That's a source point. And then I would say the one directly behind. So you follow it all up behind the ankle bone. You'd be amazed of how all of a sudden it will actually help her to feel not so deprived. It's like she doesn't want to do certain things with her will. Let's say she gets shy and she doesn't want to go do something. This is going to drag her down. This can cause a person to become sick. But massage your feet. There's tons of points all along the top here.
Okay.
And even on the here, you massage those feet. You're not doing about reflexology. You're doing something very specific, which is the intention is working on the acupuncture points, which really affects the body on a very deep level. If she can allow you to, if she says it hurts too much, and that's a bladder meridian, get the picture of what the bladder meridian looks like, and you can actually rub in another spot. Don't rub too deep, but as long as you're manipulating it in some form, try to do at least 30 times, be gentle and do little stuff. I hear using smells. Does she like, then you'll find out a certain smell, and they want you to find the oil that has to do with making you feel that, because she feels disgusted with herself. So she's pretty much feeling disdain, unworthiness, and all of this, and that there's a certain, it's not, well, it could be jasmine, but there's a certain smell. Match it with her chakra. There's the fourth chakra and the second chakra. So find those that are really going to help with that. Okay. But, and again, mirror, do all those things. You can do this, because she if she see, I don't even know if she can you explain like being deprived to her?
Well, see, I've tried so many times. I've tried working on the mindset thing with her, and her thing every time is, I can't stop it, Mom. I can't stop it. Like,
Right.
She gets a dark thought and tells me about it, and yeah.
All right, with the dark thought, you understand is that kids are the reason why it works on adults is because sometimes an adult wants to remove things, but for children, they don't know that they want a particular outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Their thoughts and things like this is controlled by a particular outcome. And so they don't know how to change those behaviors, but yet you still can use hope therapy and all these things to help you. You really can. If she can just, put her hand here, that's going to help out a lot, but you begin to notice there's a particular outcome that she wants. That's where you're going to have to figure out how to be a mom and not give in to certain particular behaviors, as well as learning how to still establish love and to still disciplined enough so that they can learn how to cope, handle, feel, and manage and pacify their emotions. The only problem is that when they know that that this could be good for them, they're going to say no because they want that particular outcome. So it can be done.
Yep, and I'm one up there. She already said yes, so figured that's why I'd ask.
Well, I'm glad you did. All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy that bath. You know what? You make
you.
me so jealous. I'm manifesting a tub. We ripped ours out. I'm ready. I'm ready to manifest myself a tub. All right. Bye, honey.
Get yourself a claw one. Bye.
Bye. Okay, that was good. Okay, so
Off the tub. Oh, sweet.
well, I do, but because of the way my spine is, I might have to get myself a Japanese sit tub. So there's actually a chair in it, so I can just put my legs over and sit down. And when I stand up, I can get out without having to wrestle to try to get out of the bathtub. So yes.
I agree with that. Pilly.
What? What'd she say?
Pilly.
Oh, Pilly's next. Okay. All right. So, Pilly, are you doing it this way or that way?
And thank you, Pilly, for helping me so I could pin.
Oh, you guys pinned it?
Yes. I figured out that I could pin other people's posts, but not my own, which is really stupid, but
yeah,
whatever.
Considering we're the ones that own the page. Hilarious. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm bald, but that's all right. Okay, so your mom was like, Amy. All right, just let you know.
Okay, Mom, leave Brenda's hair alone.
Yeah, well, she's like, she looks bald, and I think she's just trying to tell you she loves you.
I think so.
So you said Pilly's next. This is fine. Gotcha. All right, so you have a loss of willpower somewhere. It's like when people push the situation. Okay, so let me put an example. Give me an example. Give me something, please. Okay, so let's say this didn't happen, but it's something I can pull up. So let's say me and my husband are sitting in bed, and he said something to piss me off. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to him. Okay? And then he's trying to be loving. Well, I still am in that state. I don't want to talk to him. But then you don't want to be aggressive or show that. So then you give in and move your willpower into a position that you don't want to do. So you're trying to avoid something, but you know that you can't show it. So you have to push yourself into doing something you don't want to do. So in this case, you'll put yourself in that position of, fine, I will talk. I will talk to him and I'll pretend. And it's not that you're being fake. It's just that you're going against your own program. And normally you'd want to be loving, but you're just not sure how because something's running. Does that make any sense? And because of that, it is, wow, why is everybody must be going through forlorn? What age? So the 1-year-old self says that others' needs are more important than my own. Is that true, Pilly? She's laughing. Yes. Okay, because of that belief, then we have to look at how we change that belief. Otherwise, you're going to keep repeating this pattern. Oh, but you get an enjoyment out of pouting when you get rejected. That's how you've coped. Okay, so when you're a little girl, pouting actually made you feel better. So that was like your pacifier. Okay. But now it says that you compel your... Is that then? No, this is developed. When was this? Age 12. You was compulsion to correct yourself because you didn't want to pout. Oh, at what age did that one happen? But that showed up as there. Okay, so usually around 8, 7, and 8. Oh, no, I don't know. Certain age where all of a sudden, you're cute little girly talk. Nobody likes it. Oh, come off it. Don't talk like that. Talk like a grown-up. And you're thinking, but my cute stuff work. It don't work anymore. Okay. But something happened at age 12 that you have to stop yourself from going there. And so you can't pout. You got to change your behavior. You're growing up now, and you have to go into a new identity. So you are having a compulsion. So it's the way you corrected yourself. And as soon as you start to feel awkward, you begin to correct yourself. But now you're at the age where you're like, okay, I need to stop doing that because I created it then. I really have got to stop doing this now because there's so much more to me. So since you're on a growth process, they said, notice how there's a part of you, it's like, justice. Okay. You had to grow up. Yeah. Okay. Now look, it's justice. Okay, so now it's how you define justice. How do we use the self to keep ourselves centered when we are trying to make justice happen? And they're saying that we do a resignation, and that sometimes we will go into, and this is how you were compelled to correct yourself. You'll be sitting in the space if you don't know where you end and they are, and then they act a certain way. Your body will resonate to how and what they're giving off. And then you'll correct yourself. So, like for instance, if some gaslighter comes in and says something, it'll be and you're like robot, and you won't know you're doing it unless you've caught yourself several times. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing this for? You know, get back here. You're trying to control yourself, but you can't. It's just an automatic response. And that's what you're beginning to wake up from, is that you don't want to do that anymore. Okay? They're saying that if you really looked at all those things, it's down to insecurity. This insecurity of not knowing who you are. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, which means you need to pay attention to who are you? She said, exactly. Who are you? And that means you have to boil it down to, do I like white chocolate or do I like vanilla? You know, do I like milk chocolate or do I like, and then you really have to just say, no, deep down, put your hand over your heart and say, do I like this? Or do I want this? You ask the question with your heart, and you're going to get more of alignment. Like when I go to make something, oh, I'll make this. And then my heart says, no, I really don't want to. Well, why the hell do I need to do that? No, I really don't want to. I'll go over here. That's what I really want. So you get more aligned up with more of your identity. If you put your hand on your heart and communicate in that fashion with that question, and you're going to beginning to hear the answer more. Okay. And then the rest of the dross of all that old parts of yourself and say, even though I'm compelled to answer you, fuck off. No, even though I'm compelled to answer you, feel that feeling of compulsion, tap that out, change it out. But you have to become aware before you can allow yourself to move. Okay. Who's next?
That's it for Pillies.
All right. Now to go to Kenneth. I think Kenneth is next. And he has been waiting patiently from what I can think. And yes, there's the Pillies. And then, yes, there. Oh, and after Kenneth will, oh, Amber. And it was gifted from Dale. Okay. So, Kenneth, we're finally got to you, buddy. And here we go. Oh, please connect. We're going to find out if this connects properly. We'll check it out in a minute. So, yes, tap it out. At this point, you have to become aware. Each of those steps are very important, Billy, because when you become aware, you'll notice when you're losing power, when you're going into a program, and you can literally begin to say, whoa, even though, you can begin to correct, stop. And it's part of the strategy. You disrupt the pattern and then go there. Can you hear me at all, Ken? Oops, I may not have audio. Let me see. No, it's still connecting. No. Yes, I hear you, Ken. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yay! We have it. Okay, so how can I help you?
I just realized we were alive. Hello everyone on Facebook.
Remember,
I need guidance on,
okay.
I guess, the inner child work, but I'm not sure like where to start as far as like.
I'll help you. We're going to take.
I've done shadow work before, but I'm still working on my inner child.
Okay, so understand there's different forms of shadow work, different forms of inner child work. When I go in and I help you is what your soul says it wants to address right now. Okay, and what it really wants to address is that there are a lot of times you feel the instability of things. Like the moment you realize you're on Facebook, now people can just hear you, not see you. But notice how all of a sudden a little bit of instability occurred. I could feel it in the chest area just for a moment, then caused your brain to wait, what was I thinking? And so can you feel that at all? Can you recognize any of that?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. So the main thing is that you think what other people think, which means there's a part of you that think other people are criticizing. Do you feel that in life when you go any day of your life? Do you feel that?
It's more so I observe patterns more
Good.
so.
But do you know what criticism is?
Yeah.
Okay. Understand. The energy is criticism, and it feels like it's aimed at you. Now, you got to remember, we're going to be talking to your 2-year-old self. Your 2-year-old self said that I had to do something towards myself. I had to do something towards myself when I heard criticism, and I could feel that I was disapproved of, and that's how I defined it. And I said, okay. And it says, because I feel disapproved of, I panicked. And I said, all right. And then your 2-year-old self says that I would just go in and I would get very jealous. How so? You'd get jealous that so is this a self-imposed limitation? Yes. You limited yourself. You said, self, you can't do this. Self, you're disapproved of. Self, can you see that? How you would do a self-imposed limitation towards yourself? Okay. Because of that, you can't feel safe. That's why you give those self-instructions. But the root of what's going on with you is that you feel energies from others feel like they're invading your space. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because they're sitting there, you will go into certain behaviors. Especially, okay. So being that you're male, were you told that you had to become an alpha male at any form?
Yeah, actually by my twin flame.
Okay. The problem when you are going into an alpha state, you can do it spiritually, but if you are doing it the old way, it's actually caused karma imbalancing. Okay, so you want karma balanced, but to do what an ego mindset of alpha male does, that is a set of instructions that's going to throw you off. It's going to throw the karma off. And that is not where you want to go, because you're learning. You really do feel energy, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said that definitely feel it. You can really feel when other people are insecure.
Definitely. I can tell whenever, like, I backed off from the viewing of the channel earlier because I noticed you were like reacting quite a few times. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. So yeah. So what happens is that there's a part of you that's learning about safety, changing, because every one of us from our first three chakras is safety, security, and stability. And the old you is starting to really grow. You're choosing, you don't want to be ego anymore. There's a part of you that really wants to get more into the spiritual being. They're showing me like a hippie picture, which means you're really getting an understanding on that level of yourself. Now, is that true?
In some ways, yes.
Okay, some ways, yes.
More, it leans more. Whenever you see the hippie picture, I would say that leans towards my twin flame, like the feminine aspects of what I was going through in the past.
Okay, interesting. So, Spirit, what do you want him to work on? Oh, well, I want him to work on the 3-year-old self that has to do with the dark night of the soul. Now, what that is a particular program we do over and over and over and over and over, and we don't even know we're doing it. Well, how we wake up from it is we got to start noticing certain things. They said that they're saying you have to learn how to define criticism because it's not because that criticism turns it into habit. Now, I feel like you've also thought, no, criticism is actually, I can look at feedback and we can get feedback. Like if you were really going to hold criticism in ego state, anything I've said, you just took offense 1,000 times. But because you're not in that mindset, what I'm saying is not going to create a response of defense or hurt. There's a part of you that's actually learning that you don't have to go into that habit. But with particular people, especially one person, ignore that, it's kicking up. It's taking and triggering something. Do you know what I mean?
It's generally whenever I go into an egoless state, it's like my ego will get, teed off. And whenever I actually bring it back, it's actually more rampant than it was last time.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Very good. And that then makes you feel like you're the enemy, or does somebody point and say that you're the enemy? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what's important because you're new to me. And they said that there's a certain heartache that you've had and that you haven't been able to cope about it. And I asked when, and they said that at 3 years old, you had a heartache. And I'm going to say you felt inefficient. So you had to take on a certain persona. And that certain persona was silent brooding to feeling there was a weakness that you didn't want to feel and that you somehow had to become something. Okay, does that sound familiar at all?
I don't remember that far back.
But anything I've said.
Yes or no.
Okay, but if you don't think about that far back, anything else I've said, the emotions, does that sound familiar?
Does it resonate 50-50?
50-50.
Yeah.
Do you have dread?
The only time I've had dread was whenever I was faced with my own shadow.
All right, so you never dread going to work?
I'm talking about extreme, like the kind of unbearable dread.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I'm talking about. But as far as like dread as like everyday something, like I dread going to work or I dread going to school, I don't want to have to do that again. That passes every so often. Okay,
but it's still hooked into the major one. And I like how you said you could define that really the pit of that dread. And do you understand that actually comes in with the heartache? Somehow they're tied. And what I'm going to tell you to do is that, because normally with spirit will say, okay, how we want to heal this has to do with noticing a habit. So we are. And if I said, if you were to notice that taking offense, getting defensive when somebody talks, do you know what that means?
That's generally whenever, okay, there's a couple of words that people use whenever they say take offense. They can usually say taken aback. I don't like this terminology, but triggered, and sort of like another word would be appalled, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So everybody has certain words that is important to them, that registers for them. And so we're looking. As I'm looking, you know what appalled feels like, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being really appalled, what would can you feel that now? 10 being the worst.
Let me check. 2.3.
It's funny because right now you're in an investigation state. Now, normally when I can see these things, you can really connect with them, but you are looking at yourself from a different perspective. So I have to respect where you're at. And we would normally say that you can go ahead and remove that out. But they're saying that there's a part of you that needs to look at when you're triggered. Okay, a trigger, appalled, whatever words, when the environment of erratic energies put you in that state.
I have to mute myself.
You don't have to, I was just going to give you a free healing, but you don't have to. What I'm saying, though, is that when you are in your daily life, if you feel any of those emotions come up and you're experiencing them, you can then take that fresh moment and resolve those out. It's a chemical peptide. That's all you're feeling. Then that chemical peptide will go into your cells, turn it on, and it'll increase your thought patterns in a very negative sense. If you're trying to control that to be, then it's just going to be this game, this battle, this way that you learn to cope, handle, deal, and pacify in life. And your soul is saying that you're ready to make that connection to resolve out the chemical peptide. So you don't have to feel that particular emotion. It literally can start to unlock that emotion out. Okay, because I do things completely, I don't know, weird, different, I don't know. What's the word? But it just says that you're getting ready to really okay, so you can be in your head or your heart and your gut. So when you start to line those up, you'll be ready because you'll know how to connect and let it go. Now, to let it go, that's what we do a lot of tools with. Okay, so when you're ready for that, then you can come back to the show or you can make an appointment, whatever. But you really have been doing this journey of growing in your fashion, and that's good. So you've progressed a lot. I'm proud of that. That means you helped yourself and humanity to grow. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does resonate.
Okay. And you're understanding the importance of of describing? Oh, okay, good. So do you use a lot of tools, I take it, yes? No?
Even though, yes, I've used dowsing, divination, etc. I'm learning more so to more or less embody those tools. Like, say, if someone wanted a tarot card reading and like it felt like, say, the King of Swords, aka Truth, or someone was being like the Six of Swords, and like in reverse, that feels more like someone's up to something to me.
Okay.
But generally, it's just like I mainly intuit.
Okay. So
When I
I
used to use.
right. Okay. The tools I use are actual physical ways that you would tap into the innate intelligence. So the innate intelligence does the healing. So that literally means like the oh my God means that you're taking your electromagnetic self and using it on yourself because your blood's electromagnetic, your hand's electromagnetic. You will take and do this oh my God healing tool. When you're stressed, 80% of the blood leaves your forebrain and goes into fight, flight, freeze. So even if you don't feel stressed and you've learned to subdue that and your body still does it, it'll show up differently in your life, whether it's physical or it'll manifest people to do so. So when I'm talking tool, you can literally, and you feel it and you start connecting with that, you can literally put your hand on your forehead just like this to bring the blood back up to your forebrain because it creates reality. You can literally begin to change those thought patterns that have gone from beta to high beta. And that's fast thoughts, going into all kinds of negative thinking or into control of excuses and reasons. High beta is not a good thing to be. So it can help you bring you down into regular beta, which means those thoughts will calm down, the emotions will calm down, and you can get some form of familiarity to who your soul is and to who your real identity is, instead of having to have that to control and own you. So just to let you know that's what I mean by tools, because there's a lot of different ways to help tap into those parts of yourself to grow. Okay. So I thank you for coming on. I don't know if anything I said makes sense to you because we are actually talking almost in two different languages, but yet at the same time, we're talking about the same language on the two different perspectives or spectrums. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
whenever I allow my higher self to translate for me, everything seems pretty like obvious. Like, how did you not get that sort of thing?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. And once the information comes to the surface and you recognize it and hear the thoughts and the emotions, how the body controls it, because it's the body consciousness that I'm helping people to resolve these old patterns. And once you do that, you're going to really be able to release and move forward. So like I said, your inner child has taken to heart what criticism was. And if you can connect with that inner child and just feel this, but don't just think about it because you don't want to hardwire. You want to use a tool, which is like the oh my God tool, any of the other tools I have. When you're communicating with that younger part of yourself, you're going to help that younger self to evolve. Okay. And that's one of the things that I do with inner child work is that you have the inner child do the work and to evolve. All right. Again, we're talking from two different spectrums at the same time, talking same language, but totally different. I'm trying to find the best way to communicate with you. And I feel like I failed.
No, you didn't fail. I'm just observing.
Okay.
The reason why I do not respond or react is because if I react too often, it feels as if I'm like talking over the person, and I don't like doing that. And if I'm just listening, it's like it's not so much like absorbing the information, but observing it so that if it needs to be passed through, then it can be like absorbed. I don't like.
Yeah. The best way is to always observe. And if you're observing with that spiritual mindset, you don't have to absorb, but you can resonate at that field. That means you can put it out in the front of you. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you can actually learn how to heal yourself as the mirror through the mirror.
Sure.
So, but anyways, yeah, hopefully what I said makes sense, but thank you. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so hold on, got to get the right page. Okay, now we're gonna work with Amber next. Amber, like this, or do you want it like this?
And I picked the other three.
Okay, good. We'll go from there.
Going.
Okay, so who are the three so that do they know?
No, not yet. Danny,
Michaela,
and Angie.
And Angie. Okay, so Danny, Michaela, and Angie, if you would like, you have won a Pay It Forward from Dale, and that's 6 minutes with me. So you can come on to the show like Ken did, or you can do it just like this, like we've been doing it the rest of the night. So Amber, same thing for you. Gotta get the right screen. Yes, there I am. So we'll see what happens. So Amber, I'm going to set my timer set, and I need to Amber, because we have worked before. I would like to hear. Oh, here. Okay, what would you do it like this? Thank you. So what is it? There's something in specific, Amber, because I mean, they're really they're telling you to be optimistic, and you've been doing so. And you've been really helping people and paying it forward. How in the world? I shuffled. I got the exact same two cards as earlier. But read differently. Yeah, I can do that. Gotcha. So when I'm looking at the card that has to do with the connection of others, okay? This is meetings soul to soul about what you need to do. There's a certain amount of depletion. Oh, I can feel your willpower doing this. Hold on. What? My nose knows. Oh, so you're a person that picks up people with frequencies of your nose. Is that correct? But here's the thing. You need to re-educate yourself on the way your body wants to communicate. Oh, my God. You have the fear of being lost again. You don't want to do this. You have worked very hard to be in this place. She says, looking for a new place, really, really hoping to get out of my mom's house. That's why you're getting lost. Been there for 3 months since the split with the kid's dad. Yes. Okay. Staying optimistic and finding that soul connection. And that's how you're going to find your home. So she has to stay there. Okay. You're about ready to move. How do I do this? You're going right back into, that's why I feel the willpower in the coffee. The head wants to feel like it hurts because I can't figure it out. Okay, that's what I'm feeling over and over and over and over. I literally feel like I am a hamster. Hands on head. What do I do? Where to go? Good, she knows. L1D, because you're going to be working on fighting yourself. You're fighting yourself because part of you wants to just go back to what you know, and you're like, oh, hell no. And then you're fighting yourself about what it is about confidence and a trust in yourself. But the main thing that seems to affect you the most is how you are an it. And it's unfair. Now, you have to develop the emotional quotient in order you need to mature that. We need to develop that. And the emotions that stop you from emotionally being there, again, is that safety. Okay, so I have to look at this differently. I mean, the head thing. Where are we going? Turn the timer on. Oh, the head thing. Can any of you help me? You're just all observing today. Is that the case? Come here. Just one of you come forward, because I can't seem to see this realm over here. So somebody tell me, look behind the curtain for me. there's a habit. One person said shock, and the other one says a loss of power. She has an active memory. Oh, wow. How do I explain that? Okay. How in the hell do I explain that? That's not going to come out and translate well. So I'm going to imagine somebody's sitting here and she has to sit on somebody's lap. And you are controlled. So she's like, she keeps repeating karma. Is she done with that karma? What is that? What is that? I know it didn't come out the way it wanted. Vibration. Let's look at that. You're going to have to, it's not that it's difficult. It is the translation of the light language. Oh, very active memory. Yes. How did you know? Because I did point to active memory. Did I say that on? And flashbacks. Okay. So she kind of knows what I'm talking about. Yes. You want her to take and address the flashbacks. Okay. So you are going to do L1D. To feel it, to heal it. In this case, you're going to take and look at these flashbacks and diffuse. That's what we're doing, diffusing. So as we start to take the chemical peptide off of little ones, what's going to happen is, and she'll move into that eventually. Okay. Here's a bad experience. This is what's going on. And sometimes you can't reach that, don't want that, because the subconscious mind says, no, we're not allowing that. We have to keep you safe. At the same time, your nervous system from your pineal gland, your kundalini, because I feel like you had a kundalini awakening at one point. Yeah. And it has to do with the way that when the crystal in your pineal, that'll be about enlightenment if she hit that. Okay. Again, language. Dr. Dispenza was talking about how some people will go through the meditation and bringing the energy that's stored up in the first, second, and third chakra. And if you bring that energy up into the pineal gland, you can open that pineal gland and you will then understand some of the things in life. For instance, why was I so tortured? Oh my God. And when you've reached that state inside there, you will actually understand why, because we say as an ego, why did God let that happen? All of a sudden it'd be like, oh my God, you get it. But it's that level inside that pineal gland. This is why some people, when they take DMT and do things like this, will take them to understanding, hearing all the answers, and all the answers make sense. And then when they try to bring it back through that light language, the vibration changes and it doesn't sound the same and you can't hold on to it. But some people can, and they can bring it through the nervous system. And when they do, they'll get it. And the reason that we're telling you all of this is because, Amber, you're going to start taking the little fuses out slowly. And when you start to do that, you're going to start coming to a very good conclusion inside of yourself. Instead of going, oh my God, okay, out of justice, all this, it would be, I got the answer. But the answer of the knowing will be so intrinsic inside, you'll know, and it'll eventually happen. Right now, you're outside and you're at your external. It's like you're trying to figure out how to do this. And as she's spiritually in, good. So when you do this, you feel like you're looking for something. And so let's say you're in a high spiritual being and you're living in a low level life and you're attracting up to these assholes. You're like, seriously? And you're talking foreign language to them sometimes. And you're like, what? Yes. So she says, yes, I'm taking the steps of this now. It's spiritually. So I step back out of those experiences. Good. I feel like had a particular experience in another life, and you had a downfall. But what they weren't about being bad, it's about this. When people ask for patience, they have to have a bunch of chaos so they can figure out what patience really looks like. And I feel like what in the world? My nose is changing. I feel like, oh, that's right. We started off with nose. I feel like the frequencies that you've been aligned with has been changing. And the frequencies have been blocked because of the judgment that comes from these people. The judgment that comes at you literally block you from the light. You got to stop believing those judgments. And that's what L1D is going to be about, is that you see them judge. Okay. You don't have to fight yourself and go back into the program. It's just that the fear of judgment. I want you, oh, they're judging. Oh, they're judging. There's a difference between discernment and judgment. And if you're sitting there thinking what other people think, and you go and you think that they're judging you, even if they're not, you're going to throw yourself off. So when you do that process, I'm the one that's judging that they're judging me. You're going to get a handle this, because remember, put everything on the scale from 0 to 10, get it down to 0 every time. Okay. Yeah. You're going to be peeling this. First, it'll look like an orange. They wanted to not say onion. They said an orange, because then the slices within and all those little strings that hold the slice together. Honey, you have, I think, were a high priestess in the past life, very much so. And you wanted to feel what it was like. So in that case, when they usually tell you this, it has to do with the fact is that you know what love is, but you had to really find out what love isn't, so you can appreciate love. Well, if you've been in a high space of knowing how to do things, but you can't remember, you have to fall in order to find the steps to come back. And that's where you are, because by remembering the steps to coming back to where you are, then you're going to remember your purpose more and more. Just like me, you're meant to remember why. Like I was in Atlantis, now I'm here. I'm very specific reason, and I understand this. You're getting there. That's where you're going, Amber. Okay, who's next?
Okay, we have a problem here, Brenda.
Oh.
We have more readings than we have time.
Oh, we got tomorrow night. Or we can wait and come back next Monday. Or we can do it on Thursday. So we can say it's since you already chose the people, it's your choice of ask the people, will they come back on Thursday? Because I don't think they want to be at the butt crack of dawn.
True enough. The next, okay. Do you want to do the free ones quick?
Yeah, let's go there. So
Okay.
those people that are got to pay it forward, we're going to do that. If you show up on Tuesday night show, which is early in the morning for you or whatever, we'll do them. And if you show up on Thursday, we'll do it then. And those people that were supposed to be reading, what are their names again? Danny, you show up anytime, we got you.
And Michaela.
Okay, make sure we have this. She knows that she's won it.
She knows that she's won it.
Then you come either day. Next, third one.
And Angie.
Okay, Angie, again, you show up, you've got it. All thanks to Dale. Okay? Now let's get to these 1 minute reads and let's go.
Okay,
Patty. All right, Miss Patty. They're going and saying that you're looking at some self-imposed limitations. You actually got one right. You're like, oh, that's where I stopped myself. Oh, that's where I stopped myself. But you're beginning to realize that that's overwhelming. So you kind of forget about it, put yourself back to sleep. And so that's in a habit. So they're saying, just start noticing the habits. Again, the more you start to notice it and you see the limitations, okay, yeah, just take your time, be patient with yourself, because this is where you are meant to be. I mean, the whole world can't move forward yet, but you can do all this work, and that's important. They said that L1D for you. Everybody's doing the heart. L1D for you, okay, Patty? Because you are going to help yourself in each of those little spaces so that you can become not self-conscious about, this is, I feel negative and exposed and vulnerable. But you're also going to notice the right and wrong. So you're literally going to move between those states. Next.
Teresa Newton.
Okay, remember, timestamp. Teresa Newton, if you're here, then what happens is that there is an inferior energy which then holds you into a depressed state. And the active memory that seems to be active happens to do with the habit of feeling lack. Not deprived as much as lack. It could be a lack of feeling, lack of energy, lack of whatever. There's a certain amount of intolerance that occurs. And you have, because you can't tolerate anymore, you go into self-preservation. I got to protect myself. And what happens there is you lose your willpower. And your willpower is you're forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. Okay, so the awkwardness. There's a certain amount of aggression that you do toward yourself when you fear what? You fear them. So find out who they are. Find out. If you're not sure, make appointments and stuff like that, but find out. Oh, I know she might not because she's new. Anyways, now who's next?
TP.
DP. Okay. She's like, you're doing good. I'm doing good. Keep your shit together. You're doing it. You are meant to be moving. You're just going to bluntly say that. Your joy and your, you don't need to keep repeating this vulnerability. By staying there, you keep this vulnerability. By staying there, you let the bullies bully you. By staying there, you're trying to find empathy out of something that's not going to give you empathy because they're not meant to. You have now really learned and ready to grow and to move. They literally, there's programs out there. There's different things you can do, TP. You ask spirit to guide you through grace and ease, and you're going to find, maybe you can move in with a girlfriend. Maybe you can there are more, because you're right now beating yourself up, hitting yourself head against the wall over and over and over and over, doing the same thing as before, because of that ego mindset that created the hell, that everybody's a bully, everybody's this and that. You got to prove to yourself that everybody's a bully and this and that. She's saying, no. She goes, part of why I died is because I want you out of this hell. Move, change, let your life live, heal your pain. Okay, hold on. She said the next part is L3S, because it's like, I can't move only to what I know. Okay, so you self-justify. Heal that out. Okay, who's next?
Anya,
timestamp. Okay, there's this hopelessness. And so it's again, over time, here we go again. And they're saying that, but you keep going there because there's a part of you that says, if I just do this, then I will get my need met, which is love. So there's a part of you that feels in a way that you're going to, if I don't do this, then I'm going to feel that sadness and abandonment and loss. But I got to stop feeling that. So if I got to do this, this, and this, and this, and you're focusing on something that's going to give you joy, and you see yourself being deprived of it, and literally keep yourself from being aligned up to what can make you happy. Okay? Because this, you're saying this is the person I want, when it's actually your safety net. I don't really have to commit myself, love, feel any of that, because all I'm doing is going over and over of the pain. And so with this person, I can continuously keep going over the pain again and again and again. You're so ready to move, Anya. Okay, next.
Athena.
Mm-hmm. There's some sympathy that somebody has a belief that if you give sympathy, it's about weakness. And you're aware that there's a part of you that is compatible and not compatible. I feel like this is a relationship in some way that you're good in all ways, but there's this little thing and you're like, oh, I'll just forget about it. There's a problem. It's like, oh, I can put up with his dirty socks. I can put up with the hair in the sink. But actually, it's going to annoy the fuck out of you. So you have got to be honest with yourself. If this part of who they are is something you really want to constantly face every day, because it's going to challenge your security. I feel secure with them, but then when they do this, it's like, eh. So you just have to wake up and decide if that's what you really want. You just got to put your hand on your heart, and you really need to start asking these questions, whatever the questions are about whether this person is meant for you, if I can tolerate this, whatever. You'll start to hear. Next.
Nicole.
Where are we going? A certain amount of doom, somebody keeps repeating and throwing their fear out, and I feel like I have to help. But the only thing is, it keeps tapping into my awkwardness. And because it taps into my awkwardness, sometimes I will fall off of what I know is my reality, and I kind of slipstream into who their reality is. And then I think, that's right. You may have to separate yourself to some degree and understand that this is where they're living. You're meant to help build yourself to be stronger. So put the oxygen mask on yourself first, because it's about, but I'm trying to help, but that's efforts unreceived. So the reason that's happening is because you're supposed to witness efforts are unreceived. You need to heal out. Oh shit, my efforts are unreceived. Because of that, you need to do R3D, right wrist, third position, nice and deep, because you recognize that efforts unreceived. There's a part of you that feels petrified. You got to keep going back to the same story, back to the same story. Next.
Brandon.
Well, there's a monotony, and there's a monumentous thing with this monotony. And it actually can drive you to hysteria, even though it just sounds weird, but it's like the theme that's running through it is disapproval. It's like, So I would look at disapproval and I would heal that out. I would feel it. This disapproval forces you to become a martyr, because they won't change their behavior. You will change your behavior. Interesting. Wow, that's interesting, because it's like doom to what? Doom rejection. This is weird. Non-thinking, non-feeling. I feel like it's them, but I feel like it's not them. So are you taking on something? No. You're not aware of certain behaviors? Oh. Oops. Next.
Indira? Indira.
Indira. Okay. Timestamp Indira. And the thing is that there's a certain amount of coping. You cope a certain way every time when there's not enough efforts unreceived. Please look those words up. I can't express enough how that goes, because the consciousness part of you is that you're aware of it. And then it goes right into discouragement. And so then you just go right into a particular, and it shows, what's it do to the will? It doesn't paralyze. It just kind of holds the will. I'm not sure if I want to. So you don't really put your will into certain things. And then there's this control factor, because I see another piece of energy that comes in and says there's a control factor going on. And then there's a certain amount of having to repeat, this is my story, this is my program, this is my identity. And it's like, oh my God, get me out of this roller coaster. But you may not be aware of the roller coaster, even though the bitch slaps are coming. Next. Amanda. There's an invalidation that you're doing to yourself. And they said, when you do that, you're not aware of how the body responds. They said, become aware that when you invalidate yourself, your body actually begins to respond inappropriately, which then starts to make you, your other part of your body will then kick in and have to do self-preservation. So you have one thing that's invading in the other, and the body's trying to correct itself. So you have a wrestling going inside of your body. And then there's an alarm going on. But deep down, there's a sadness. So you might have been a bashful child, but at the same time, there's a sadness. And they said they want you to address this, because it has to do with because I'm just now wandering. I'm meandering and wandering. And it literally makes me do this. And I just don't really know if I feel connected or want to connect. But yet I can't stand that floatiness because there's got to be some type of grounding. Next.
That's it.
Oh, hey, we did it. Okay. So those people that have got a paid it forward reading from Dale, just come on. I got 2 more shows, Tuesday and Thursday, or yours would be Tuesday and a Wednesday for you, Wednesday night, Tuesday morning. So you will get those. We will honor those. And we thank Dale for paying it forward. And we thank all of you for paying it forward or being here or caring about yourself. However it is, you deserve this. Now, I can't tell you when Facebook's going to kick me off, but they always say it's a 4-hour limit. And, you know, they change the rules ungodly. So I have no idea if they means go longer or not. That's the hard part. So I was giving everybody likes, and anybody that loved or shared, you would get a happy card, an oracle card in your mailbox. And I don't know if I'm in Facebook jail yet or not. They are getting mad that I gave love. So I don't know if it is just, I don't know, because they're telling me it goes against community standards. And I haven't had a chance to challenge this or not. I don't know but if they let me, I will sneak a few here and there. Maybe there's a limitation. I can do like 10. Now, those that already, if there's any newbies, you won't get one. Sorry. But those that are not new, I think you should be able to get them. But if I hit one that's not new, or if I hit one that's new, then they may end up, I just don't want them to close down my site. That's my only concern. So remember, we have the tribal unit. If you want to learn the language, if you want to learn how to become a spiritual human, how to wake up and really dive in that. And if you really want to dive in, then we're going to be doing, the academy's coming soon. This is what they keep telling me, because the academy's here. It's just is only available to those in the pilot class, which means I don't know how they're going to plan on doing this. I don't got enough time in the day. We'll see. And those in the academy, it does cost. So just to let you know, some of them are going to be live. Some of them are not going to be live. They're going to be an online course that you do. And then you'll have videos to watch. And then you will go into having joining into the groups and the tribes. So there's different ways of how to do this. We'll see. What site? I'm not sure what Adrian said. But I feel like any minute now they're going to kick us off. So, okay. I'll be back sometime. Yes, if you want free healing tools, there's a whole bunch of them. medicinewomansolution.weebly.com. Do not put www. You ain't going to find me. Get rid of the www. Type that in and you should see it. Okay?
Manifest that, Vic.
What'd she say? Let's start our own
spiritual Facebook.
You can.
Facebook spiritual people.
Yeah, you can. And they have their own communities. Several years ago, 8 years ago, I started to do one, but maybe it was too soon. But they had it so you could. Who knows? That might come back in existence, because I can't remember how all of that went, because I actually found a way you could do it and I started to set it up. And then there was just wrong timing for me. Divine timing is now. The one you said will be taken off.
Oh, one of the groups. On
Facebook, one of the groups, I've already closed it. It was Quantum Law of Attraction, and now we moved it over into calling it Medicine Woman Solution something, and so that you can learn how to grow and use all that. I closed it down because I want one group so that people can come on. Now, if you're here, you can get on to how to be notified onto that group, or you can go into the messenger and be in the chat group. But I don't want talking in the chat group, because people, but unless you understand there is a notification to shut off all the notifications, but then the whole point of creating it is to have when certain things are notified. So,
Adrian, we don't have time
yeah.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we say Brenda.
You come onto the webpage and you'll end up my fan page and you'll be able to see all other things that are going up because I got to still put all that up today. I took my weekend off. Okay. All right. I really care about you guys. And I am now going to say resolve to evolve.
Healing City Deal.
You can feel it to heal it.
You can heal that.
And please, please always remember to stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
And for you, my YouTube, my pretties, how do you get in stream? There it is. Bye.